as foreigners make you a minority. Another election, another bust. Go vote for that liar, it's a must. We were given the greatest gift of all, decided to give it up and watch the fall. Yeah, it's just a clown world. We're living in a clown world. Join us in the clown world. It's easy to see that the joke's on you and the joke's on me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, June 4th, 2026. Welcome into today's edition of the Owen Report. We got some interesting news today. Nothing too out of the ordinary, except maybe this story out of Texas with the new world order screw worm. Yes, it is called the New World Screw Worm. It's in Texas. They're doing a big, they had a hearing today. It was brought up by Secretary Brooke Rollins. We're going to look at that a little bit. I guess you could say we have some agriculture news. So we're going to talk about this screw worm and then this farming bill, which has already been a major debate with MAGA and MAHA and how to handle this. Well, now the Democrats are getting a little bit of a political interest as this could play huge in the Iowa Senate race. So we're going to be looking at that. President Trump is taking questions right now. Look, the insider trading that happens is kind of insane, I have to say. And I was just, this is how it goes. If you follow the news, you can almost get ahead of some of these curves. But unless you're actually on the inside, you're missing the big pump. We're going to talk about this economic news. Trump comes out today. He announces $700 million for the coal industry. Well, about 3 hours before the public announcement was made, coal stocks had a nice little 5-6% boost. And then about 10 minutes after the announcement was made, they start going down. That's odd. You'd think the announcement would make them go up. Oh, that must have been the people that already knew this announcement was going to be made, got their nice little 5%, and then started dumping. And when you've got millions of dollars to spend, what's 5% of $1 million? What's 5% of $10 million? If you know it's 100% winning bet, it's fun. It's fun. But I already had this story in the news today because I've kind of been hinting at this for a while. Trump talking about all this investment he has coming in, the trillions of dollars in investment, and how it's just not there. It just isn't there. And now you're starting to see some other stories and some other developments. And it's like, yeah, well, maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not there. Maybe the money was never there. There was a concept. There was a framework. There was a vision. And then, as Trump said, we had to take a detour. We had to take a detour. But who knows? Nowadays, whatever Trump says, it's almost meaningless the next day. So maybe it's the same thing with these investments. We do have other news. But look, big topic of discussion on the Hill today was Israel. It was a huge topic. And it's mostly because the merger that we covered yesterday in the 2027 NDAA, which was written by Netanyahu, by the way. Oh, there's no Israeli influence. Netanyahu writes the damn bill and then gives it to Congress. Okay. So they're debating this merger. Israel keeps coming up on the floor today, and then there's some other outliers on that subject. So we'll look at the conversation on the floor. We'll look at the conversation kind of surrounding the general topic. But it really is, it's one of the strangest phenomenons to watch and especially when you're actually in it, when you're in the politics of it, it's one of the strangest things to watch because there hasn't been a more unifying political issue in a long time. I don't know if you could even name one. A unifying political issue where there is both sides agree on this. And it's very grassroots, it's very organic to such an extent they can't even believe it. The propaganda that has been spent in this country for our government to support Israel and for you to support Israel, we're talking astronomical amounts of cash. And they're sitting here watching the whole thing crumble right before their very eyes. And then it's this weird thing with the neocons, with MAGA, and they're kind of separate at this point. MAGA just does whatever Trump says. So if Trump says Israel's bad, MAGA will say Israel's bad the next day. Congress is different. And you've got congressmen, Republicans, that are arguing, keep the troops there. Keep the troops there. Bring the troops home. No, U.S. congressmen on the floor saying, keep the troops there if the troops in the Middle East would like to come home. So we're going to look at that. And then there's a Vance angle today, which it's not as surprising. We've been all over this Vance Rubio push since the beginning, but there is a Vance angle to all of this today. We're going to look at that too. What else do we have? Oh, I wasn't even going to cover this. I'm kind of surprised. I shouldn't be, but I am a bit surprised what's happening with this Karmelo Anthony trial. Clearly, there are operatives outside of the courtroom. This whole thing is a guaranteed disaster. I mean, there is no positive outcome, unfortunately, as far as the American politics are concerned. Now, you can get to the personal level of the Metcalf family or the Anthony family. I'm so over the race relations garbage. I'm so over the race-based politics and identity politics. It's so nonsense. And this trial is kind of the perfect example of what complete nonsense it is. I'm so over it. So I wasn't even going to cover it. I was a little surprised by the activism happening outside. I probably shouldn't be. So we're going to go to some of these videos. But this is just, it's like, I don't even want to tell you. It's like, it doesn't even matter what I think should happen. Probably not. Probably doesn't even matter. I don't know. Maybe people in the audience want to know. It's not going to change anything. No matter the outcome, there will be a radicalization effect. So if Karmelo Anthony doesn't go to jail, you're going to see white people get radicalized. You're already kind of seeing it, but it's more of just kind of a spark. It's not really like a blast. It's a spark. You can see there's something there, but it's not really affecting too much. If Karmelo Anthony doesn't go to jail for killing somebody, white people will become extremely radicalized. It'll be worse than the situation where Irina Zaruska, the white Ukrainian girl, gets stabbed by the career criminal on a train. The black guy stabs the white guy, and then we have the video of it. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like that was kind of radicalizing, but that was still a spark. And that guy, he's kind of walking too. He's a career criminal, but because he's crazy, he doesn't have to face justice. So it's kind of ironic, but that's not really getting the attention. No, if Karmelo Anthony does not go to jail after killing Austin Metcalf, there will be a serious white radicalization factor. Now, if Karmelo Anthony does go to jail, what we already have seen is a radicalized element of the left with the race-based politics and black Americans and all the propaganda around that. They will become radicalized. And you're already seeing this outside of the courtroom. So we're going to go outside of the courtroom. We're going to look at this. I really didn't even want to cover this And you'd think this thing would be open and shut, honestly, and maybe it will be in the courtroom, but the drama surrounding it is already not good. There's no good outcome. So all of that and more coming up on today's Owen Report, brought to you by Cove Pure Water Filtration Systems. Bring your water filtration to the future with Cove Pure Water Filtration Systems. And why do I say that? Bring it to the future. What are we talking about here? Yes, bring it to the future. First of all, it looks like it's from space. This thing looks like it dropped right out of space or an alien spaceship or something. But I promise this technology is from Earth, so you have nothing to fear. But it's the digital interface and all the capabilities that make this thing feel like it's space-age technology. With one push of the button, you can have scalding hot water. So you want to make tea, you got some instant coffee, whatever it is, you want some scalding hot water. One push of a button, scalding hot water. Push the button on the other side of it, ice cold water. So you can get scalding hot water or ice cold water instantly with one push of the button. You can control how much you want, 16 ounces, 6 ounces, whatever you want. Very customizable for just one button. And it can be hot, it can be cold. It has a pitcher. You can see if you're looking here, there's a pitcher connected to this that fills itself. You just dock it on the side of it and it fills itself. You go pour a couple glasses of water, fills itself back up. By the way, I didn't even mention that it's the best actual water filter. Filters out 99.9% of contaminants and then realkalizes the water before you drink it. That's as good as it gets. The Cove Pure Water Filtration System. Everybody loves it. Everybody that has purchased this loves it. Nobody has had any complaints. Everybody loves it. And of course, you got to filter your water for your family, your guests, your pets, yourself. And right now, for my listening audience at covepure.com/Owen, $250 off your water filter unit. You heard that right for this listening audience. Covepure.com/Owen, $250 off your water filtration system.
Turn my system on.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right. What's everybody thinking about today? What's everybody talking about today? Yeah, it's one of those days where it's so unfortunate. Politics is so unfortunate. It's such an unfortunate, nasty game, nasty business, nasty, corrupt people, liars, scumbags, blackmail. I mean, you name it. Fraud, embezzlement, extortion. It all happens in politics. Unfortunately, it's the vast majority of politics. But you know what? From my experience, people are good. People are good. And I've had a pretty busy day today. And there were a couple things that happened today, and it reminds you, people are good. People are good. It's nice. You need that reminder every once in a while. You need that reminder every once in a while. You need to have an experience like that every once in a while. And so there I am. I had a couple of these experiences today. Just good people, just looking out for one another, doing the right thing. And then I get home. I sit down and I'm getting ready to do the show. And here we go. Politics. Yikes. Yikes. And it's funny, too, because what the current MAGA doesn't understand, and I'm actually going to get into this a little bit today, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I just need to kind of, let me just clear some dust and cobwebs here before we actually get into the content today. I have this in the show. It's Glenn Beck doing a segment attacking Candace Owens, and it's like, I really don't care what you think about Candace Owens. I don't need to be Candace Owens' defender. I don't need to be the white knight against Candace Owens. Like, but it's funny. Here's Glenn Beck doing a whole segment attacking Candace Owens. And it's like, this is the parallel to the MAGA mindset. This is the parallel to what MAGA thinks it is and what it's not. Here's Glenn Beck attacking Candace Owens, and it's like, Glenn, you don't get it. You don't have any power here. And this isn't even an attack on Glenn Beck. It's just this delusion. It's like, Glenn, Candace is bigger than you. You're on the decline. Candace is on the rise. Now that you have internet media, the formats that made people like Glenn Beck famous and powerful and influential in the media, they don't have the power. They don't wield the power that they once did. So again, I'm not trying to be mean to Glenn, but he's kind of stuck in the past thinking that he has any influence over how people feel about Candace Owens. If anything, Glenn Beck going after Candace Owens just makes people like Candace Owens more. So I'll get more to that later on in the show. But why do I say this about MAGA? So I'm working out this morning. I'm wearing one of my T-shirts. I'm wearing my Disobey T-shirts, which I decided I think I'm going to wear to the gym all the time now. And a couple people came up to me and they asked me about the shirt. They don't know who I am. They just ask about the shirt. I'm like, oh, they want to know where to get it. I said, oh, it's my website. I kind of do some political stuff. So I'm just like an anti-establishment guy, whatever. And they're like, I'm not even really getting into politics. I'm just like, yeah, everything's corrupt, anti-establishment stuff. And their eyes just like light up. That's the movement. That's the movement that got Trump elected. That's the movement that carries weight right now. And it's like the cliche of the revolution will not be televised. MAGA is under this delusion that they're the movement. They're the people, big swinging in the locker room where we move the sticks, we move the chains, we decide the fates. And it's all delusional. It's the anti-establishment middle that is fed up with the left, fed up with the right, has come to the conclusion that the entire system is corrupt. There's a uniparty against all of us. It's like, yeah, there might be some left-wing stuff, some right-wing stuff, liberal, conservative, progressive, traditional, whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe you got some opinion. All of that gets overwhelmed. All of that is like light years behind where people are at now, which is the whole damn system is corrupt. It's not even about hope in saving the system anymore. The hope is that the system is destroyed. There is no saving the system. The system is now entirely corrupted. You can't save it. And so it's just like, that's the movement in this country. That's the people that are steering the ship right now. That's the people that are going to determine the fate of this country. Now, it's very complex. There's all kinds of corruption. There's different political waves. But MAGA, this is where MAGA thinks it's them. MAGA, the current brand of, neocon, foreign lobbyist MAGA, they think they're the ones steering the ship. They think they're the ones that are the revolutionaries, winning over hearts and minds. It's all a grand illusion. Most people are in the middle somewhere and just have reached the conclusion that the whole damn thing is corrupt. I'm sick of it all. I don't trust any of them. They're all corrupt. There's no hope in saving the system. That's now where what was once MAGA in 2016, the original MAGA, which won 3 straight election cycles, that MAGA is now no longer MAGA and is now sitting in the middle like it's all corrupted. There is no saving it. Trump was the last hope. Trump was the last option. It's not happening. They're out. They're off. They don't have any faith in the system. They don't have any hope in saving it. They don't have the left, the right, Republicans, Democrats. It's all corrupt. They're done with everything. That's the message. That's where the people are at. That's the heart and soul of America. Not neocon, foreign policy and foreign lobbyists and all the other garbage. No, that's not in. That's not in. But because that's where the victories are being had in D.C., the foreign lobby victories, the neocon victories, the donor class victories, which now control MAGA, which now wear the MAGA hat. Now it's the delusion that, oh, that means MAGA is winning. No, you guys just got co-opted. They just bought the jersey and they're just wearing it. They don't represent you. You're not winning. They bought the team. They run the team. It's not your team anymore. Your team is over here trying to help you, bring you back, we're trying to bring you back home. Now on that, winning, it's kind of the segue. But you know what? Just to close, people are good. People are good. Politics is bad. And that's why people avoid it. Because it's just so corrupt. So speaking of winning, the Trump administration is claiming these big victories today. This was put out by the White House. I do like their new little 250 logo here or whatever, I guess. I do like that logo from the White House. Might co-opt that. So we're 500 days in. We're 500 days in. There's like 900 days to go. They had these numbers up earlier today. I'm not seeing them now. Okay, 500 days. So the White House claims 500 days of winning. More wins, more to come. Okay, let's see. Here's what the White House is claiming wins on today. Passed the working families tax cuts. That is a nothing. That's I mean, I wouldn't say it's not a win, but it's not there. Nobody is celebrating tax cuts. Sorry. Tax cuts are not impacting people's bottom line financially. So that's a nothing. So that's really that's a neutral. Secured the border. Okay, I think we can give them a win. I think we can give them a win there. All right. Lowered crime rates. Yeah, I think you can give them a win. I think that's a fair win. All right, I'll give them a win on that. Unleashed American energy. I think that they'd like to unleash American energy, but I'm not seeing the results. Energy is more expensive. Gas prices are up. Electricity prices are up. So no, I don't think that's a win. No, and I mean, you can claim that that is an agenda. You can claim that this is the goal to unleash American energy, but no, I don't think you can claim that as a win. Not when energy costs are up. So no, I don't think so. I don't think that one works either. Trump accounts. Well, that's just a big bet on the stock market. That's all that is. That's just a big stock market boondoggle. So I don't know. I don't think that's a win. We don't know what that's going to be in 5, 10, 20 years. So no, I don't put a win on that. Lowered prescription drug prices. You know what? I'm probably not qualified. I'm probably not even qualified to say win or loss on this because I know nothing about prescription drug prices. I see the headlines. It means nothing to me. So that could be a win. I don't hear about it. I don't hear anybody talking about prescription drug prices. I will tell you that. I don't hear anybody talking about it. So I don't really know if you can call that a win. If that's, if you're claiming that as a big win, then I think you're probably losing. If that's your big win, you're probably losing. I don't hear anything about that. Ended transgender insanity. Well, just no. Just that is just not. Transgender insanity is happening very much alive. In fact, I think we have some of it in the news today. So no, you did not end transgender insanity. That is just not even true. So I don't know I don't know how they say that's when. Making America healthy again. You know what? I'll give that a pass. I'll give that a win. I will give that a win. The reason why I'm a little hesitant is because policy-wise, it's not there. It's not there. This is more of a cultural win. This is more of Americans taking their health seriously again win. So I do think it's a win. It's not really the political win for the Trump administration to claim, but since it's happening under his administration and Maha is, kind of it, then I guess we'll let them claim it. It's a bit of a reach. I think we're being friendly letting them claim that again. I think that's a culture win. I think that's an American citizens making up their minds on health decisions. So I don't know, but they're reaching for that one. I guess we'll let them have it, but I don't really. That's debatable. We'll give it to them. We're feeling nicey. We're going to give it to them. Ended DEI. Yeah, I don't think they've definitely ended a lot of it in Washington, D.C., but they haven't ended it. If they wanted to say ended DEI guidelines in Washington, D.C. or the federal government, then I think that would be a fair claim. But ended DEI, you didn't end DEI. DEI is still happening every day in the corporate world. So no, you did not end DEI. That's brutal. So 500 days of MAGA winning, and really what can they claim here? Secured the border, lowered crime rates. That's really it, which is great. Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm giving that a win. I'm celebrating that. Good. That's it. That's really all you got. Everything else here is either a reach or just not even true. And that's really where you're at. And you know what? Since we're on the topic of the winning here, I had this in the stack later, but let me just do this now. You may see this, you may not. There's a big, this is the big online feud between Laura Loomer and Candace Owens. And it's getting pretty nasty, actually, I will say. And I think there's a lot of things that are fair. You get into these spats on the internet. Some things have been said. There's specifically one thing said by Loomer that was just like so grotesque, just unbelievable, the depths that she has fallen to. So I'm watching this unfold, the latest between Candace Owens and Laura Loomer. And it's not the only one. It won't be the last one. There's plenty of these internet dramas all happening inside of the right wing. And so, okay, here we are. MAGA is talking about 500 days of winning. They released this report card. 75% of it is total BS. And I see what used to be the strong MAGA coalition, Laura Loomer, Candace Owens, now fighting with one another. And I see that, and you know what it tells me, guys? Do you know what it tells me watching the right wing infighting? Do you know what it tells me watching the nastiness? I mean, they're into the depths, into the mud pits between Laura Loomer and Candace Owens. You know what it tells me? It tells me we're losing. We're losing bad. None of this is happening if we're actually winning. When you're winning, things are good. When you're winning, people get along. When you're winning, everybody feels good. You're winning in the moment. You're celebrating. You're all on the same team. You're not having this if you're winning. This is the proof. They'll never see it. The right-wing infighting is the proof that MAGA is not winning. The right-wing infighting and the MAGA breakup is proof that you're not winning. It is the ultimate proof. If you were winning undeniably, everybody would still be on the same page. Everybody would still be on the same track. Infighting would not be dominating the right-wing political discussion. We aren't winning. And that's why it's happening. This is some of the strongest evidence. And so it's weird. It's like you have these debates about MAGA or the Trump administration. You have these debates about, okay, is it successful? Is it not? Isn't the fact we're having the debate the ultimate proof that it's not? It's like if there is a debate, then that's the proof it's not successful. If there was no debate that this is a winning administration, then there wouldn't be a debate. So let's look at some of this here. We're going to go to the Hill. I got just, they're all obsessed with Israel today. The FBI put this out. Most wanted fraudsters. So they just arrested 8 fraudsters. And it's like, it becomes so, I don't even know what the word is. Ironic, but it's like ironic doesn't even do it justice because it's intentional. It's like ironic is, kind of natural. I'd love to be celebrating how the Trump administration is dealing with all these fraudsters and arresting all these fraudsters. I'd love to do it, but it's like, how can I, when Trump is also pardoning the biggest fraudsters this country has ever seen? How can I sit here and celebrate that the Trump administration is arresting fraudsters when they're also pardoning and releasing fraudsters? So it's kind of a net zero. And it's part of this larger irony of MAGA today, or double standard is probably the better way to put it. The double standards of MAGA today are crazy. And every time I see them celebrating the fraud arrests and the claims they're going after fraud and everything else, sitting there like a big, bright, neon dancing chicken sign is Trump has pardoned more fraudsters than any president in U.S. history combined. I'm sorry, I can't ignore the giant neon dancing chicken behind you talking about fraud. It's kind of tough. I mean, I know you're talking about fraud, but I can't ignore that. All the biggest fraudsters getting pardoned. Can't really ignore that. That's why it's so strange. They'll all complain about money corrupting politics, just not AIPAC money, Adelson money. They'll all complain about foreign interference, just not Israel. That one's okay. It's like these are the double standards that MAGA, it's not even subtle. It's so blatant. You feel like they have to know what they're doing. It's so blatant that's why it's become such a degrading thing. It's like you can't possibly claim ignorance here. And if you are going to claim ignorance, then it's time for you to just shut your mouth because you're talking about stuff you don't know. And that's where MAGA is at. And by the way, and this is another example. So here's Trump. This was actually yesterday. He had another meeting at the Oval Office today that was a live broadcast, and he took a bunch of questions. This was after the Peabody coal announcement. We'll get to that in a second. So it's like, if I say, we showed this yesterday. If I say, hey, the Israeli lobby unseated Thomas Massie, MAGA says, you're an anti-Semite conspiracy theorist. He's just not popular. Say, okay. And then you see the Republican Jewish coalition, and they do a 3-hour conference, and all of them celebrate how the Israeli lobby unseated Thomas Massie. It's like, hey, MAGA, they said it, not me. Same thing. Trump, Marian Adelson, top donor. She loves Israel more than America. I say that. It's not true. Doesn't happen. Trump says it. They don't know about it. So here's Trump saying this was all for Israel. He's the one saying it. Trump is saying it. This is the frustration, is having too much information. So, who needed who with the war in Iran?
It is separate. But Israel, hey, look, they've been a great partner. Bibi Netanyahu's been, for me, a great partner. For other people, not so good. For me, he's been very good. We were very effective, what we've done. And they needed us. They couldn't have done it without us. Couldn't have even come close. And they needed us. And they got us to help them with a real problem, because Iran was a real problem, a big problem, a worldwide problem, because it is.
Israel needed us. They could not have done it without us. Oh, Trump said that. But you try to tell MAGA people that support this war. You know, the MAGA people that were against the war and now love the war. You tell them that and they go crazy. But Trump says it and it's like, did you not see that? Did you not hear that? Do you not care? Do you ignore that? So here we go. The big fight over the NDAA 2027, where they want to merge us with Israel. It's like, it's the craziest thing ever. And don't you love how they totally played us on this for like the last year? All in unison, by the way. I wonder who sent out the message. All in unison. We're going to stop Israel's reliance on American aid. We're going to stop taking money from America. We're going to become independent. And then behind the scenes, they were signing deals to put us into a political matrimony. These liars, man. These scoundrels. Oh, we're going to go independent. We're not going to take your foreign aid anymore. And then they go behind the closed doors and they say, sign this document. We're marrying you politically now. We're actually merging with you. We're becoming one. Oh, yeah, we don't need your aid anymore. We understand it's not popular anymore. We're going to become independent of American aid, and we can still be allies and stuff, but yep, we're not going to take the aid anymore. We don't need that. No, actually, we're just absorbing you. We're, it's the comic book movie. It's like the alien and what's the name of it? The alien like becomes you. He's a parasite. Tom Hardy was in the movie. I can't think of it. It's like, that's what this is. It's like, no, we're melding now. We're merging now. I mean, the gaslighting is unbelievable. The Israeli lobby, they didn't buy that seat. And then you go to the Israeli lobby event. Haha, isn't it great how we bought that seat? Yeah, Venom. Thank you, guys. It's like Venom. Israel's like Venom. It takes over and wears us like a skin suit. And now it wants to make the decisions. And it just wants to totally merge and be able to make its decisions autonomously without us. But, it's like, there's no Israel influence. Stop saying that. And then they do all the name calling. So here we go. Enough of me. Let's go to, we'll hear from a Republican. We'll hear from a Democrat. This is Ro Khanna. This is Ro Khanna today on the new, written by Israel, to be passed by the Israeli lobby-owned Congress, to basically Israel is writing up a wholly political matrimony document for our country and theirs so they can take all of our money and we don't get a prenup.
The American people are tired of the arrogance and insolence of Prime Minister Netanyahu telling America what we should do. The entire country of Israel has a GDP that is less than a single town in my district. Yet somehow Netanyahu thinks he could tell the American people what we should do. The person who's most upset with him right now is President Donald Trump. And everyone in America, whether you're a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat, says that we need to tell Netanyahu that America calls the shots, not the prime minister of any other country. They want less cooperation and blank checks to Israel, not more. Only the United States Congress would dream up at this moment, let's actually do more for Israel, not less. And that's what Section 2024 does. It's a pretty simple thing. Should we do more for Israel than we already do, or should we do less? If you think we should do more for Israel, you should be against my amendment. If you think we should do less for Israel at the time that he's arrogantly telling Donald Trump what to do, then you should be for my amendment. Now, let me just be clear. Mr. Netanyahu actually wrote to a member of Congress to put this Section 224 into the bill.
Now, this is where it gets frustrating doing political commentary, because this is the reality. What Ro Khanna just said is truly about American independence. That's what it is. That is actually conservative. Ro Khanna here is expressing traditional American independence and conservatism. He's a Democrat. So on this issue, there is nothing conservative about supporting Israel. Okay? There's nothing small government about aiding a foreign country and getting involved in a foreign war. These are totally antithetical to small government conservative values. They are the complete opposite. And yet you're going to have conservatives claim that Ro Khanna's liberal and progressive and a radical left for saying that. No, that is traditional American independence and conservatism. That's what Ro Khanna just expressed. It's the Republicans that are liberal on this issue. It's the Republicans that are big government foreign interests on this issue, not Ro Khanna. Let's get a little more direct. Would you rather bring the troops home or keep the troops there? What do you think is a winning message? Bring the troops home or keep the troops there? What do you think? Well, the Republicans are wanting to keep the troops there. That's what Brian Mast, who, by the way, wears the IDF uniform. Brian Mast literally puts on a foreign military's uniform. I don't know how that's not treason. So, no, it's not bring the troops home. It's Brian Mast, keep the troops there.
This resolution, it's reckless and it's unserious. You're asking to remove U.S. troops in a country where we are not in conflict. Israel is killing terrorists, who I just listed off all of the attacks that have gone on just since early April, but we are not in conflict there. So you're saying we can't keep any military there. I would actually engage in a colloquy. I'd yield my colleague a little bit of time. Can we leave no military there? Representative Tlaib, I'd yield you 30 seconds or 10. Can we leave no military there?
I would like to know if Ms. Karam, a university student from the Christian village of Akala in South Lebanon, she wasn't a terrorist. She was murdered on Monday. She was returning from home after completing her exams at the Lebanese University in Beirut. Look it up. The Israeli bomb targeted her family's car, killing her alongside her brother Tony, her father James, and who was a dental surgeon in the community. He wasn't a terrorist. Our country must stop aiding in these killings. To me, she was not a terrorist. She was a human being who should be alive today.
Apparently,
a promising young student. My colleague should know she's a promising young student.
I'm going to take back my time here,
literally
but
being
I will
erased.
give you some more time to debate. As you can see, I'll definitely give you the time. It's tough to understand you when you're yelling. But to my colleague's point, please stay standing because I'll yield you more time. It's just got to be a back and forth. Apparently, they're not terrorists. Apparently, everybody that Israel was killing in Lebanon, they weren't terrorists, according to my colleague over here. It wasn't terrorists that were firing 1,729 rockets there, 1,680 UAVs.
Now, see, this is where the ridiculous double standard comes into play. But let's just pause it real quick and reflect on what's just been expressed between Democrats and Republicans on the Hill today. The Democrats want to bring the troops home. The Republicans want to keep the troops there. Let's not make this more complex. I don't want to hear about your but this and that. No. Let's say what it is. In this debate, the Republicans are saying keep the troops there. The Democrats are saying bring the troops home. That's where you're at. That's where you're at, MAGA. That's where you're at as a Republican now. Keep the troops there. More war. Forever wars are good now. That's where you're at. Now, here's where the double standard is just, it's not even a double standard. It's just, this is pure propaganda. And I'm just as sick as anybody else. Look, what a heartbreaking thing. Israel kills another girl in Lebanon. Okay. I don't want to hear about Lebanon. I don't want to hear about Palestine. I don't want to hear about Israel. I don't want to hear about Iran. It's like, this is America. Do I need to pull up stats for, people that get shot in Chicago and Memphis and St. Louis and everywhere else? It's like, what about them? What about our children? I'm so sick of the Middle East. I'm so sick of it. But, oh, yes, every single person Israel has killed, all 100,000+ of them, they're all terrorists. I mean, it's like, do you even, this is so ridiculous. I can't even, it's like, it's so outrageously ridiculous at just face value here. You're stunned that anybody falls for this. It's like, how do you even explain that? Pure brainwashing, pure mind control, pure propaganda, that you would sit there and take this seriously. Israel has killed 100,000+ terrorists in Palestine and in Lebanon. Every single one of them is a terrorist. And then Mast says, Tlaib says she wasn't a terrorist. Mast says, prove it. What? So kill someone and then prove they're not a terrorist? Is that where we're at? Kill first, ask questions later. Guilty until proven innocent. Oh, they're dead. Sorry. That's where you're at now, philosophically, on the Middle East issues. Is kill them and then make you prove that they're not a terrorist. Well, guess what, folks? It's not long before that ideology gets used on you. It's not long before every single ideology that we see Israel using in the Middle East against its enemies, it is not long before that very ideology is used against you. If we accept this practice and we accept this standard and we accept this ideology anywhere else in the world, I don't care if it's Israel, I don't care if it's India, I don't care if it's Pakistan, I don't care if it's Taiwan, I don't care if it's Mexico. If you promote and accept that ideology and that philosophy anywhere else in the world, that will come here. That will be the reality that you deal with. Is that really what you want? The government kills you? And then later it's, oh, yeah, you weren't a terrorist. Is that where we're at? Is that where we want to be? This is an unbelievable argument by Mast, and yet here he is on the floor of Congress making it as an agent of a foreign country, acting in the interests of a foreign country. This whole thing is so outrageous, folks. And again, it gets back to my opening monologue. This is why everyone is sick of it. Americans have their own problems, and way too many of them. And here we go again. You guys are bickering over sand and dirt and mountains and oil and everything else in the Middle East, and we're sick of it. And now I have to watch this traitor, because the Republicans are so good. Now I have to watch this traitor say every 100,000+ people that Israel has killed in the last 2 years, every single one of them was a terrorist. Every single one of them. And Rashida Tlaib says, well, I don't believe this woman was, this little girl was, this schoolgirl. I don't think she was a terrorist. Mast says, prove it. Yeah, prove you're not a terrorist after we kill you. Who falls for this? Who believes this? Who accepts this? Who promotes this? What is wrong? What is wrong here? What has happened to our country? What has happened to our Congress that this is acceptable? It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-boggling. And this is why our country is collapsing. This is why our politics is so corrupt. This is why our country is collapsing. This is why Americans' approval rating of Congress is about like 20%. It's this right here. It's this garbage right here. And by the way, this is all centering around the fact that Trump is caught with his pants down. This is all because Trump got caught with his pants down. And by the way, he posted this earlier on social media. Let me pull this up. He said, yesterday in a meaningless vote, we're talking about war. We're talking about war and the Constitution is what we're talking about. And Trump says it's meaningless. The House voted 4 bad Republicans and all of the Democrats to limit my war powers. Well, yeah, we have a system of checks and balances. We have constitutional law and we have war powers laws. That's our system. And now I guess conservatives, Republicans, and MAGA, we don't care about that now. As long as it's Trump. As long as Trump robs my house. As long as Trump rapes my wife. Like, hey, as long as it's Trump, it's okay. So now it's, hey, just let me have unconditional powers over war. It's like, no, that's not how our country works. Right in the middle of my final negotiations to end the war with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Folks, Trump just pulled his own pants down. Trump just pantsed himself. So first he says it's not a war, and we all know why. They said it wasn't a war for political reasons because it's not popular. They said it wasn't a war for legal reasons because it was an illegal war. He didn't have congressional approval. So that was how they first introduced this, for legal and political reasons. Now they can't deny it's a war. So now they have to call it a war. And so now Congress is saying, well, wait a second. You don't have the power to send us to war. We're going to have a vote on this. And they voted, no, we're not supporting this war. And now, I was ending the war, but it was never a war. Because if it was a war, then Congress would have to vote. But they just voted on the war to end the war that I was about to end. What? Okay.
Injuring 283, killing 15. Apparently it wasn't terrorists that were doing that.
Yeah. No one is killing people except the Muslim terrorists. Israel isn't killing anybody, even though we just admitted they killed 100,000 people and they were all terrorists. Israel isn't firing missiles. Israel didn't just demolish an entire country. The double standard here, the blind spots here, it's unbelievable. But see, it's like there's so many levels to this. You have people that they tell you you're delusional if you think Israel even has any influence. They tell you you're crazy, you're out of your mind, you're delusional. Israel isn't even an issue. There's no Israel influence. There's no Israel issue. It's like, what planet do you live on? I can sit here and I can play hours just from today. They're debating Israel. I can sit here and show you. I got a clip right here. A Republican and a Democrat just went to Israel to meet with Netanyahu to write up this bill. This bill is written, signed, sealed, and delivered by Bibi Netanyahu and the AIPAC lobby that owns Congress. And then they pass a bill and it's all for Israel. And you just sit here and observe it and report on it. And they say, no, that's not happening. But by the way, Israel's the best. It's the weirdest thing. For the sake of time, I'm going to move on. But you had a Democrat and a Republican. One of them, Marlin Stutzman, and he went on with CNN and he explained it. How, we just went to Jerusalem to meet with Netanyahu. And, he's writing these bills. He's running our Congress. He just says it right there on TV. Amazing stuff. Now, on the Vance issue, Max Abrams, you're probably familiar with him. He does pretty well on X. He's pretty popular on X. Doing international stuff, geopolitics, Israel stuff. And I don't even know. I tried to find the source for this. He clips this out of a story. And look at the ties here with Turkey and Hungary and Vance and so listen. Israelis believe it was Erdogan via Vance who put the kibosh on the plan to topple the IRGC. Israeli sources have accused American officials within the White House. Many point to U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, who has voiced doubts about the 2026 war with Iran, of leaking the plan to Erdogan to help the Turkish president get to Trump in time to stop the operation before it could be rolled out. So This is beautiful propaganda by the Israeli lobby here. This is truly masterful stuff. I mean, they are the Bachs, they are the Monets of art when it comes to political propaganda. Nobody does it better than the Israelis. And this is a masterpiece here. I got to tell you, this is truly a masterpiece. So obviously, they're mad. Israel wants the United States of America to topple the IRGC. It hasn't happened. And this is all for Israel's interest. Let's just be perfectly clear. This is all for Israel. This is all about Israel. It's all for Israel, and they believe they own us. They believe that's their right. They believe they are entitled to run our country. That's what their money buys. So we know they don't like Vance, and we know that they don't like Turkey. And so look at this beautiful portrait that they have drawn up here to perfectly attack both of them in one smooth stroke. Israel believes they're entitled to control the U.S. military, and therefore the U.S. military must topple the IRGC. It hasn't happened yet. This upsets Israel. They know that once they use the United States of America to topple Iran, they're going to move to Turkey. Their plans are stalling. They're getting very frustrated. They believe they own you. They're entitled to this. It's not happening. They're getting angry at their slaves. And in particular, they're targeting Vance and they're targeting Turkey because these are the next political and military targets of Israel. And this beautiful broad stroke that they attack both of them with. So it's pretty clear on the Vance issue. I think the Turkey issue speaks for itself. We've kind of laid that out. Here's what's happening with the Vance issue and why the Israeli lobby is targeting Vance. The Israeli lobby wants Marco Rubio. That's their pick. And that's why you see all the big neocons. That's why you see all the big foreign loyalists all pumping Rubio. Rubio is the foreign lobby selection. That's who they want to be president. Now, for whatever reason, if that's foreign policy based, or if that's we have him on camera at a bubble party based, I don't know. But that's who they want. Now, Vance is the big tech guy. But Vance's instincts on the Middle East aren't boomer instincts. Vance's experience with the Middle East and Middle East politics back home is not establishment neocon boomer experiences. So Vance understands the Israel issue. He understands both sides of it. He kind of has to play neutral or not involved, and that's all strategic. But he's not all about going into the Middle East. Vance, in his own, if anybody in D.C. can make their own decisions and make up their own mind, in Vance's own mind, going into the Middle East is not good. He's sick of it like everyone else, and he knows that. Well, that's not good for the Israeli lobby. They need somebody in there that's always going to do the war for them. So that's why they don't want Vance. Now, Vance with big tech, that's a different issue. So Rubio is the Israeli lobby guy. Vance is the big tech lobby guy. Now, here's the difference. The big tech lobby isn't necessarily concerned about whether we're at war in the Middle East or not. And you could certainly reason that, hey, big tech, AI, drones, all of this stuff, this war does benefit them. But at the end of the day, war is not necessarily big tech's business. Big tech is into data mining. Big tech is into just technological advancements. They're into AI. They actually want to, they are going to make the case to politicians. They're going to make the world more safer. So the weapons and defense contractors, they're not really making these arguments. They're in the business of war. So as long as war is happening, business is booming. Big tech is more like they don't need war. With big tech, if there's no war, business is booming. So it's a different beast for sure. But that's what you're going to see play out. And at this stage, the big tech lobby is way smarter than the Israeli lobby. The Israeli lobby is basically in the Stone Age. They have mastered propaganda, and they own enough outlets in America to keep a large portion of Americans brainwashed. But we're seeing that is fading. Big tech has all this data. They'll fund the left. They'll fund the right, just like the Israeli lobby. But I think big tech recognizes that they can make their case to a Democrat just as a Republican. But if Vance is their guy, then they're not running him in 2028. There's no point. It would be a lost cause, and they don't want to spoil their guy before then. So this is what you're going to see. The foreign lobby is going to be pushing hard for Rubio. They're going to be pushing all the anti-Vance propaganda, just like we saw. And big tech is probably going to sit this next one out, maybe side with a Democrat, and then bring back Vance probably in 2032. That's my guess. But I love seeing the Israeli propaganda because it is masterful. I mean, I like watching people that are masters of their craft. I mean, Israel is a master of propaganda. I mean, they are the best in the world. And that's just like watching Michael Jordan dunk from the free throw line. Israel blaming Vance and Turkey. I mean, just brilliant stuff. Because, everybody in America is so desperate for war with Iran. Everybody. But, hey, where are the wokies these days? Where are the wokies these days? Let's take our first break. Take our first break of the show. We're going to talk about who's woke, who's not. We're going to talk about that on the other side because this is another one where Republicans keep swinging and missing. And it's just strange. The double standards, they're so obvious. They're, 2 inches from your face, and they still can't see what's sitting right in front of their face. They still can't see the irony. They still can't see the double standard. So we'll try to point that out for them on the other side of this break.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Folks, are you sick of being tracked and traced everywhere you go? Are you sick of it? Are you sick of the radio waves, all those dangerous things coming off your cell phone, your tablet, laptop, when you're carrying it around in your bag, your backpack, fanny pack, whatever it is? Are you sick of it? If the answer to that is yes, you need to check out the bags from Silent, slnt.com/Owen, because they come with military-grade technology that stops your cell phones, your laptops, your tablets from tracking and tracing you, from sending off all of those frequencies that are blasting you. Silent bags stop that with their military-grade Faraday technology. So if you don't want big tech, the government, or anyone else knowing your every move, if you want to control over when you're connected, what you share, then you need to try out a Silent Faraday bag. By the way, backpacks, sleek, efficient, concealed carry bags, crossbody bags. You're going to the beach, the lake, the pool. They have dry bags, all with the same military-grade technology, all sleek, all efficient. It's a bag that you'll actually use. It's a bag that you'll actually use when you travel. You're going around town, hanging out, friends and family, the pool, the beach. It's a bag that you're actually going to use, plus the military-grade technology to keep that phone from blasting you and sharing your data with anybody that wants it. That's the difference between Silent and the rest. slnt.com/Owen. Save 15% plus free shipping right now on qualifying orders. You heard that right for my listening audience. Anything you like, check it out and save 15% plus free shipping on qualifying orders at slnt/Owen.
Navigating between the sane and insane, it's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Well, everything woke turns to shit. That's a Trump quote. Everything woke turns to shit, and that's why MAGA has turned to shit. And here's an example. And again, it's just like, how do people not see this? It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Because they think they're brilliant. Congressman Brandon Gill. Probably one of the better ones. Probably one of the good guys. But it's just like, this is so low IQ. It's pathetic. For years, Democrats have intimidated and silenced Republicans by calling us racist. That won't work anymore. Congressman Brandon Gill. Okay. Right. So now it's just the Republicans calling everybody racist that they disagree with. Because that's what's happening. It's like the number one thing happening is anybody that disagrees on foreign policy with the neocons is an anti-Semite. That's a racist. It's the same difference, just a special word. They just have a special word so they can separate it between left and right. So if you call someone an anti-Semite, it's woke right. You call someone a racist, it's woke left. Same thing. It's all racism. It's all discrimination. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. The Republican, you guys are so smart. We're not intimidated by the Democrats calling us racist anymore. We're not intimidated by liberals calling us racist. Now the Republicans call us racist. Now the Republicans call us racist when they disagree. Okay. And that's exactly what it is. You don't want to support Israel and prioritize Israel. Oh, you're an anti-Semite. You're a racist. And you're banned from Republican Party politics. But don't worry, we don't let Democrats do that. We won't let Democrats gatekeep and decide who's a racist and who not. We do that now. We call the racists around here. This is the new Republican Party. This is the new MAGA. We call you racist now. We don't take that garbage from the Democrats no more. That's what we do. When we want to weed people out of our right-wing Republican Party, when we want to gatekeep people out of the Republican Party and outside of any sphere of influence, we call them racist. We do that now. Democrats don't control us by calling us racist. We control us by calling us racist now. That's right. At any time you want to disagree with a strong conservative Republican, anytime you want to disagree with one of us on foreign policy, well, guess what? You're a racist. You are a racist, and you will be banned from Republican Party politics. But don't worry, the Democrats won't call us racist anymore. We do that. We do the racists around here. And then it's this. I can't even. Oh my gosh, CNN. The Republican. Again, if you don't support Israel, you're a racist.
This is not someone who's just deeply flawed. He has a Nazi tattoo. He has a Nazi tattoo. This is a guy who the Democratic base chose before the primary season even really took place, and there was actually a vote. So there was plenty of time to go with someone who doesn't have a Nazi tattoo, to your point. Like, they're making a choice. I think if this was someone with a KKK tattoo, the Democratic Party would not be embracing it the same way. This is a different Democratic Party and its relationship to Jews and Israel. It just is. And I think that they're willing to give up certain kinds of morals that they used to hold, all because they've been deeply broken by the threat of Donald Trump in their eyes. This is not someone who's just deeply flawed. He has a Nazi tattoo. He has a Nazi tattoo.
We have an issue in the American body politic. And it does not do it service to have this conversation if you're going to make it about partisanship, because I can tell you that there are warts on both sides. For example, you want to talk about anti-Semitism? Did you hear Thomas Massey in his
Thomas Massey is an anti-Semite.
Did you hear that?
I've said that from the beginning. I said the same thing with Marjorie.
There it is.
But I'm not viewing it as political.
There it is. There it is. The Republicans use the woke tactics just like the left. The Republicans use the claims of racism just like the left politically. Stop it. Stop pretending you don't. Stop it. You guys are the woke ones. It's just a different abracadabra. It's just anti-Semitism instead of racism. It's the same word. It's the same spell. It's the same propaganda. It's the same woke garbage. And now you're agreeing with the left on it, by the way. Imagine that. Here you are. It used to be the left. Nazi this, Nazi that, anti-Semite. Now it's the right. You're a Nazi. That's a Nazi. You're an anti-Semite. How can they not see it, honestly? But they really think it's different. That's what it is. They really think that they're on the right woke. So woke for, black people or woke for Spanish people, whatever. Woke left issues, that's not good. Woke right issues, though, that is good. The woke right, you guys got it figured out. You guys got it. Yeah, everyone's a racist that disagrees with you on foreign policy. Everyone's a Nazi that disagrees with you on foreign policy. Gotcha. But hey, we don't do that racism thing here. We don't get intimidated. We don't let claims of racism determine our politics. Only anti-Semitism. It's the same word, just spelled differently. Here's another one. So they're attacking Joe Kent today, another anti-Semite. MAGA's attacking Joe Kent because they find out he's part of this group that Soros is one of the main funders of. So he just got a commissioned writing gig for Responsible Statecraft, a magazine for the Quincy Institute. So somebody put all of this out to the MAGA paid bots and the MAGA digital influence people online because they don't know anything about this. So this is probably a scripted campaign against Joe Kent. Okay, Joe Kent is bad because he has a job writing for a company that is downstream from a larger umbrella network that Soros funds, and therefore Joe Kent is bad. All right? You're so principled. You're so principled that anyone with any connection to George Soros is bad. That's how principled you are, MAGA. Now do Scott Bessent. That's right. That's right. You guys will engage in a digital influence campaign against an American citizen, not sitting in any office right now. MAGA are such frauds and such phonies and such hypocrites and such fake principled people that they're going to run this attack. They're going to run this hit on Joe Kent for taking a writing gig, which probably doesn't pay much, by the way. I don't think Joe Kent is making life-changing money writing for Statecraft, which is downstream from a larger umbrella network that George Soros has funded. But they're so principled that Joe Kent making a little bit of cash as an American citizen in an umbrella that has Soros money. They're so principled that it is unacceptable. But Scott Bessent, who made millions of dollars working for Soros, Scott Bessent, who has manipulated global economies and currencies for George Soros and made life-changing money, you don't say anything about Bessent because you're all frauds, you're all phonies, you're all corrupt, and you don't have any principles. And by the way, I just call it as it is. Bessent is like one of the few in the administration that's probably not been a total letdown. But, I'm not the one attacking Joe Kent, who's like 5 levels down from a George Soros check, because I'm principled. No, that's you, MAGA. You're so principled. Joe Kent, he's the big issue as an American citizen, 5 levels down from a George Soros check. But Bessent, who was receiving the checks, you have nothing to say about him because you're all frauds. You're all frauds on pretty much everything, actually. Is there anything MAGA's not a total fraud on at this point? I guess border security, maybe. How about this one? They're all complaining. Did you hear about this? Adam Hamaway, a medical doctor, Army veteran with a controversial past. It's because he went to heal people that got shot by Israel. That's his controversial past. Wins nomination to succeed Watson Coleman in New Jersey. So they're branding him, and, is he far left? Maybe. They're branding him as the next squad member, far leftist. And they're complaining, of course, because he's a Muslim and he wants to heal children that got shot by Israel. So, that's his controversial past. My God, you should let those kids that Israel shoots in the head die. That's how controversial he is. So they're all complaining that this guy wins. They're all complaining the next far left radical Muslim squad member just gets into Congress. That's funny. It's funny seeing MAGA complain about that. It's funny watching the Republicans complain about that because I don't remember you guys spending $35 million to make sure he didn't win. I'm trying to, yeah. Isn't that strange? Isn't that strange? And he's probably going to win, by the way. He's probably going to get into the next Congress. Isn't that funny? You guys spent $35 million and as much political capital as you could muster up to get Thomas Massie out of office. And now you're going to sit here and point the finger at a radical Muslim leftist squad member, and you're going to say, how did we let him win? How could he win? Well, golly gee, I don't know. Maybe if you weren't so focused on unseating one of the last conservatives in Congress, one of the last good guys in Congress, maybe if you weren't so obsessed with getting rid of him, maybe you could have stopped the next radical left Islam squad member from getting into Congress. But oops. You had to assert totalitarian control over the Republican Party. You just had to. You just couldn't let one Republican not vote to be raped by Israel. You just couldn't allow it. Not a single Republican can stand for U.S. sovereignty and independence. We get it, AIPAC. We get it, Marian Adelson. You own the Republican Party. There will be no one left in the Republican Party unless they prioritize Israel. We get it. But don't sit here and start spinning circles saying, hey, wait, why did a radical Muslim get elected? Why didn't we do anything about this? That's your fault. You could have easily ran a similar campaign. You could have easily ran all of the money, all of the propaganda. You could have easily done all of that against the guy that just beat Watson Coleman, Hamaway. You could have easily spent $35 million to make sure Hamaway doesn't get in office, but instead you spent it on Massie, an actual conservative. Priorities, am I right? Priorities. I love this. Here's your, again, the MAGA mind is just broken, guys. It's just broken. They're so, it's It's a cuck cult. It's a cult of cuckery. It is a political cult of political cuckery. That is now what MAGA is. It's the same thing of, you'll come running back to Trump. Listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. You think that means anything to me? You'll come running back to Trump. Listen to what you're saying. So here's the latest one. I really hate how Megyn Kelly turned on Trump. These people, Trump is their world. Like, everything in their life centers around Trump. That's it. They wake up and they look in their fridge and they ask, what should I eat for breakfast? What would Trump eat? What would Trump want me to eat for breakfast? What time would Trump want me to set my morning alarm? Would Trump want me to hit snooze? Would Trump want me to go on a run this morning? Does Trump want me to watch a movie tonight? Does Trump want me to skip lunch today? What does Trump want to do? What is Trump doing? It's like everything. These people are so into a cult. I've never seen anything like it, honestly. Everything revolves around Trump in their world. Megyn Kelly has turned on Trump. And they're mad because she does this segment. So this is apparently turning on Trump. Let's listen to the segment here. This is supposedly what MAGA calls turning on Trump.
He's collapsed now with the white working class. My friends, that's it. Other than Fox News boomers, there's no one left. There's no one left in the original MAGA coalition. White working class? I really look forward to the people who purport to speak for the white working class, people who have written whole books about the working class and what's important to them, people who have been ripping on the so-called podcast class for being critical of this war and how they're completely irrelevant and no one listens to them. I really look forward to those people updating their reporting to tell us what's actually happening among the Trump base now. Because they want him to focus on the economy, on inflation, not on Iran. That's what they want. They don't give two shits about the Strait of Hormuz, about Karg Island, about blockades in the Middle East. They care about their pocketbooks.
Now, everything Megyn Kelly says there is true. Everything Megyn Kelly expresses in that 60-second clip is true. And yet that is being clipped out and shared by the MAGA cult as Megyn Kelly has turned on Trump. But everything she says there is true. They can't say anything in there that's not true. So what does this mean? It means that they expect you to lie for Donald Trump. It tells you that they are willing themselves to lie for Donald Trump. When you tear down these barriers, folks, this is why MAGA is so brainwashed now. When you are willing to rip down that barrier and you say, it's more important for me to lie for Trump than to be honest, it's over for you. The safeguards are down. The walls are down. You might want to be a good person with ethics and integrity. It doesn't matter. You've lost control. You've given up. You've sacrificed whatever boundaries that you have philosophically, spiritually, politically, whatever it is. When you are willing to lie to protect somebody in politics, it's all gone. It's over. And that's what they're saying. They can't say what Megyn Kelly expresses is wrong because she's right. What they're saying is, why aren't you lying for Trump? Why won't you lie for Trump like the rest of us? That's what they're really saying. And then where does that end up? They're lying to themselves. They lie to themselves for Trump. They are willing to live a lie. They have accepted they will live an entire lie. Their entire life, their entire political belief system, they will accept living a lie as long as it supports Trump. As long as the lie that they live supports Trump. That's where they're at. If you don't lie for Trump, you've turned your back on Trump, which ultimately leads to you lying to yourself and living a lie in a cult. But let's get back to the Megyn Kelly aspect. So Megyn Kelly has turned her back on Trump for telling the truth? I'm sorry. Since when is that how it works? I thought telling people the truth was being supportive. I thought telling people the truth, I thought being honest with people was how you stay true, is how you stay on the level. It's lying is when you start to muddy those waters. So if anything, Megyn Kelly is more loyal to Trump than MAGA. MAGA is just a cult. There's no real loyalty there. There's just blind commitment. If you have a friend whose wife is cheating on them, are you going to tell them or are you going to lie to them? And which one is it? Who's turning on your friend? Who's turning on the friend? The one that's going to tell them their wife is cheating or the one that's going to lie to them and say the wife isn't cheating? Who's really turning their backs on their friend? And this is the total inversion of MAGA. This is the total inversion of what was supposed to be right-wing ethics and integrity, and it's all just been totally inverted, and we're sitting here watching it. And now Hunter Biden looks like the sane person? Now Hunter Biden enters the picture as the normal guy? Hunter Biden becomes, how should we phrase it? Hunter Biden is now, it's easier to consume and accept Hunter Biden than MAGA. You might even argue Hunter Biden is more MAGA than MAGA. So now Hunter Biden is more consumable and more palatable and more relatable than MAGA. Wow. Who had that one on their bingo card? Hunter Biden is at it again. He is really weighing into it on X. Wow. He says he's getting attacked because he's responding to everybody on X. So he's getting attacked for selling the paintings, you know, the finger paintings when Biden was president, and he's selling finger paintings for like $50,000 or whatever. So he's responding to these attacks. Hunter Biden says, yes, I sold paintings about $225,000 a year over 4 years. It's pretty good. It's more than most people make. The whole of my business while my father was president. Actually, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. I thought it was in 1 year. In 4 years, that's modest. It's not like I don't think he's short on cash, but I don't know. He's in Congress investigated it. If you're outraged about that, where is all your outrage now? And this is where he's just right. Even if I want to say, you know what, Hunter, I'm a little skeptical of your finger painting business, and it looks like another pay for play Biden quid pro quo operation that we know is going on. So, okay, he says, well, Congress investigated, I'm clean. Okay, well, how can you argue with his close? How can you argue with the final case he makes? Kushner's affinity partners hold roughly $5 to $6 billion. Close to 99% of it comes from sovereign wealth funds, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, over $90 million in fees annually. And that's not even the best case for him to make. He could make the case about Don Jr. and Vulcan. He could make the case about Eric Trump and all the AI and the data centers and all the mining companies and everything else. I mean, the Trump family, just the Trump sons, have probably benefited from over $2 billion of government contracts. And that number might be low. That might be ridiculously low. It might be closer to 5. And that's not even counting Jared Kushner and Ivanka. And it's like, if Trump just gives them land in the Middle East, like, how do you even put a price on that? It's trillions of dollars. So yeah, if you have a problem with Hunter Biden making 6 figures as a painter while his father was president, and you believe that's corrupt, okay. Now do Don Jr., now do Eric, now do Jared Kushner and Ivanka. It's just, I'm so sick of the fraud. I'm so sick of the double standard. And it's just, here we go again. Here we go again. Hey, Joe Kent is bad. Look at a Soros connection. Nothing on Scott Bessent. Hey, Hunter Biden is bad. Look at the paintings he sold. Nothing on the Trump sons. It's outrageous. It's outrageous, the double standards. Oh, did you see this? They're still counting votes in Los Angeles, guys. What is going on? Who's winning the Los Angeles mayor's race? Live election results below. This thing is still being counted. It's like they're going to keep counting votes until Rahman has more votes than Pratt. Do not be surprised if that's how this happens. How many times have we witnessed this, guys? How many times have we sat here and watched Democrats, specifically in California? How many times have we sat here and watched Democrats in California count votes until the Democrat wins and then they stop? There were, I think, 3 races in 2024 alone where that happened. And now they're doing it again? Wow. Spencer is not going to be quiet if they steal this election from him. I can guarantee you that. And even Trump said something about it this morning, how they basically cheat and they count votes until the Democrat wins. He's totally right. It's insane how that works. And that's why it's like, I wish Trump would actually do something about it. Cut the federal aid from California, tell them to clean up their election system and get rid of the sanctuary city status. But instead he's telling them, hey, go vote for Hilton and then I'll, work with you. But it's just like, that's not how it's going to, they're going to steal the election. I don't think Hilton has a chance, but even if he did, they'd steal it. It's crazy that we're sitting here and they're going to do it again. It's so crazy. I can't even believe, like, there's no way, right? Like, there's no way that they're going to do this. There's way too much national attention. It wasn't like the House races after Trump won president. And, all the attention was on Trump and everything else. And then there's some little House races in California, 3 that Republicans won. And then the Democrats just literally counted votes for weeks. One of them, they counted for over a month. They just kept counting votes till the Democrat won. And then the Democrat won and they stopped counting. It's like that one, yeah, they kind of slid that one under the radar. Unless you were like listening to me, you probably didn't even hear about it. And we were on it every day. This is like the whole country's going to watch. So I can't even believe that they would do it. It's like, you're not going to steal this right in front of everyone's face, right? I mean, it's not going to be that obvious. It's not even a close race. But this is California Democrats. It's California Democrats, and it's happening. Why would they still be counting unless they plan to steal it? So it's like, I can't believe they would do it. But why would they be doing it unless they're going to do it? So they're still counting over there. That's good. All right. I was mentioning this earlier on the economic front. And I've kind of been saying this for a while now. All the investments that Trump was claiming he was making, or that Trump claimed, he claimed like 17 trillion in investments coming in. This was like kind of the first couple months of his presidency. He kept pounding that. Oh, the trillions in investments, the trillions in investments. And it never really happened. I don't know where it went. Trump doesn't even talk about it anymore. And the first signs for me that it was BS, or it wasn't manifesting. The first signs for me was when some of those companies Trump claimed to have the investments from started going to China and India asking for money because they didn't have it. The investments weren't there. They were trying to scrape up cash to make it happen. It didn't happen. And then you saw other companies asking the government, asking the administration for money. So all the companies that Trump said that they're bringing in trillions, the money didn't exist. So I don't know if he made it up or there was a plan and it didn't work. So he never talks about it anymore. I don't know if any of it even happened. And then you see this story. And I think that this gives this a little more clarity. In Fortune magazine, CEOs are losing confidence in the economy and expect conditions to worsen in the next 6 months, survey finds. And so it gets into how they talk to these CEOs. They question CEOs, poll CEOs. You know, some of them are anonymous. Some of them go on record. But basically, it's like, yeah, there is no boom. There is no investment in the economy. It's simply not happening. All the CEOs are looking at their status and saying, we need to scale down. All the CEOs are looking at the economy and saying, this is going down. There are no investments. This golden age, this Trump is doing good for the economy. Folks, it's just not real. It's just completely not happening. And I think this is more evidence, quite frankly. Trump to use wartime powers to dole out $700 million to the coal industry. Now, do I even want to get into the whole wartime powers thing? So it's now we're at war again, but there's no congressional approval and Trump's pissed. So it's just like, and he said the war was ending and it was over, but the strait is closed. So it's, I don't even want to get into the whole wartime powers claim to do this. Now, I like coal as an energy source. I don't think it's something we want to do forever, but I'm not against coal. And I think that Trump at least wants to be pro coal or was pro coal. I feel like he doesn't have time to do anything except foreign policy now. It's kind of how it feels. Like everything else is just going through the motions. The only thing that's really getting heart and soul or attention to detail is the foreign policy. So he brings in some coal people, and the coal business has not been doing well. It's not obviously doing well, and that's why he's giving him $700 million. It's a bailout, folks. Now, again, to be clear, it's like our government spends all of this money. Yeah, I would rather spend $700 million on U.S. energy infrastructure and resources like coal. I'd spend $700 million to support the coal industry 100 out of 100 times before I send anything to Israel, before I send a dime to any foreign country. So that's like the frustration here. It's, oh, yeah, $700 million for the coal industry. That's American energy. But, you know, foreign entanglements, foreign aid, foreign countries, we're in the billions over there. We're in the hundreds of billions for foreign interests. $700 million for the coal industry. It's like, okay, yeah, well, maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but it's like a penny. It's like a penny compared to what foreign interests get. But put that aside, I think this is a story on the economy, folks. I think this is a story. It's not happening. The economy's not booming. American energy isn't unleashed. It's all falling. It's all collapsing. It's all getting crushed right now. And Trump has to inject $700 million in. And I would say there was definitely some insider trading on this today because somebody got ahead of it. There was nothing in the news, but about 3 hours before they made the official announcement that Trump would be giving $700 million to the coal industries, all of the coal stocks shot up about 5%. There's a bit of a dump after the pump, but that's what they do. That's how the inside. Oh, Trump's going to make a deal on coal. Everybody goes out and buys coal stocks. They get their 5% bump. Trump makes the announcement, and then they sell. Every time. Now, if you got in right when they made the announcement, you might have caught a little bit of the end of the wave, but that was a tight window today. Oh, we got an energy problem, apparently. U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve on pace to hit lowest level since the early 1980s. Remember, we all complained when Biden drained the strategic oil reserves. Now Trump is draining the strategic oil reserves. I think I know where the oil is going, though, guys. I think we discovered where the oil is going. Trump posted this on Truth Social yesterday. Him in, well, I guess what is supposed to be a football uniform, holding a basketball with a soccer ball and a bunch of oiled up muscle men behind him. So I guess this is where all the oil went, so that Trump could do what is, I think, can only be described as a homoerotic AI-generated image. I don't know what else you would call that. It's very strange. You'd think they'd be smart enough at least to say, hey, if we're going to do this weird football with you oiled up with a bunch of muscle dudes, we should at least make you hold a football, and he's holding a basketball. So this is Trump playing with balls with a bunch of oiled up dudes around him. What in the hell are we doing here?
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Guys, you may hear this out of Texas. State opens investigation into Celsius over caffeine levels in Alani Nu energy drinks marketed to teens. So there's a big, not just the investigation happening in Texas, but there's a big story and there's a lot of attention being paid now to these energy drinks. And, you know, I would say, generally speaking, it's not a bad thing. An energy drink is not going to kill you. Is there bad stuff in them? Yes, obviously. But it's not, you know, having an energy drink once in a while, it's not gonna ruin you. But you drink them every day, that's where you get into trouble. And so I think what we're seeing with this now is these kids that are drinking 5, 6, 7 energy drinks a week, 10 energy drinks a week. Now you're starting to get the bad side effects. Now you're starting to realize, you know what, the bad stuff that's in there, it starts to pile up. It starts to do bad things. So what do you do? What do you do if you're looking for an energy drink that you want to drink an energy drink every day? You want to get your caffeine. What do? You don't want the toxic ingredients. You don't want to worry about all the bad stuff, drinking it every day. What do? I have the solution, ladies and gentlemen. I have done it. Crash Out Energy. That's what you do. Go to crashout.energy, 200 milligrams of caffeine in every scoop. But it doesn't give you the jitters. The way that we balance this is it's about half raw caffeine, half naturally sourced caffeine. So you get a nice little jolt, and then you have a nice, smooth, long-lasting energy and focus. But what I did was I combined the elements of an energy drink that gives you energy with the elements of different nootropics for focus, clarity, and I just put it all in one drink. That's what I did. I've been combining these things for years before I go on air. And I said, why don't I just cut the unhealthy stuff and then make a healthy drink that has all of it in it? That's what I've done. Crashout.energy. You can drink it every day. I drink it every day. And it's really also healthy for you, too. It's not like you can't even really say that it's unhealthy like many of these energy drinks. Very healthy for you. Crashout.energy. We're really proud of this, guys. We put a lot of time into this formula. I'm very proud of this. This thing is kind of my baby. I drink it every day. I mean, that's my endorsement. It's the official energy drink of the Owen Report. Go to crashout.energy to secure your canister today.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, so Trump apparently fell asleep again today. You know, it started a couple times. It looked like he may have been dozing off. And then there was one moment where it looked like he was totally out. I already said, I don't really care if Trump sleeps. He is working all day, whether that's for us or someone else. He is working all day, and he is about to turn 80 years old. In case you didn't hear, there is a big birthday party planned. Trump has a White House UFC fight planned for his birthday coming up in 10 days now. We do have some news on that, by the way, coming up this hour. No, I don't care that Trump falls asleep. I think he's justified in falling asleep. But I will say he's probably not going to be able to. He needs to take some time this weekend, probably take a day or two to just go golfing and get some rest, play some golf. Probably be good for the old man. But he dozed off today. And, of course, MAGA will ignore it. They'll pretend it didn't happen. But it did. It's okay. He works a lot. I'm okay with. He's 80 years old, works a lot, takes a nap. You know, with Biden, it was that he didn't work. With Biden, it was that he was never working and taking naps. So I just tell Trump, he say, yeah, Trump, just, you know what? Tell Netanyahu to get bent. Just take a week. Go play golf. Man, it would be the greatest thing. It would reverse course immediately if Trump told Netanyahu, good luck, we're out. We're bringing all the troops home. We're winding the whole thing down. We're bringing them all home. You're on your own. I'm gone. I'm out for a week or two. You do that. Good luck. That would turn it. That would just turn it all around, potentially right there in an instant. All right. So let's do this, though. Let's go to the Collin County Courthouse, where the trial for Karmelo Anthony is happening. Now, I imagine at some point, by the way, the media situation happening here is insane. And what you have is the courtroom is, you know, they have to let some of the public in, but it's a very tight ship. They're running a very tight ship as far as who gets access to the courtroom. And they have this, they're calling it a curfew, but they're not allowing anybody onto the property until 6 a.m. and they kick everyone off at 11 at night. So basically, you have people. There's about 30 seats for the public to get into the courtroom, and you have people that are, by the hundreds that are trying to line up to get inside. And what's happening is you have members of the media that are showing up and getting right there at 6 o'clock in the morning so that they can get inside and cover it. And then the Karmelo Anthony supporters show up and they basically just take over the line, cut everybody, say, nope, this is our right. And then they all get into the courtroom. So it's been a struggle to get too much substantial play-by-play from inside the courtroom because the media members that stood in line all day got cut and butt and kicked out by all the Karmelo Anthony protesters squeezing themselves in. So that's why it's kind of been a weird situation with the information coming out. I imagine at some point the videos that they're reviewing will be made public. I imagine at some point. But it's described as you see like a wider view from a security camera, a high wide, and up in kind of the top corner of this high security camera is the tent where everything goes down. And apparently you see, I guess, Karmelo go into the tent, and then you see the stabbing and then the chaos. I don't know if that's going to be too much convincing either way. That's the only real substantial bit of evidence that we've been hearing about as far as what's being considered right now by the jury. But that's why you're not hearing much on the moment-by-moment developments, because all of the journalists that tried to get in there all got pushed out. They all got pushed out. But what's going on outside is what is truly crazy. You have the Karmelo Anthony support protests. They want to see Karmelo Anthony walk free, which I think, look, I want to try to be as neutral on this as possible. And it's so hard to do that because I'm white. And you might say the same thing if I was black. But the point is, just your skin color, it's like you can't even be neutral. That's how polarized this case is. Whatever you say, people are going to look at your skin color and say, oh, you're saying that because of that. I don't understand, quite frankly, to me, as it lays, I do not understand how Karmelo Anthony doesn't go to jail. I just don't get it. It makes no sense. And I certainly don't understand how anybody could put themselves in the shoes of the parents or the family of Austin Metcalf and tell them, yeah, your son's killer is not going to jail. Your son's killer is walking free. I don't know. But whatever. We'll see what happens with the court case. Either way, if Karmelo Anthony doesn't go to jail, white people are going to be more radicalized racially than you've ever seen in modern American history. If Karmelo Anthony does go to jail, then we're looking at another potential BLM riot type situation. Hopefully not, maybe not, but I do think that is a very, very real potential, especially when you see what's happening outside of the courtroom. But no matter what the result here is, it's going to set race relations back, unfortunately. It's going to make more racists. It's going to make more people radicalized on race-based politics, no matter what the outcome is. That is a guaranteed result, no matter what. And that is why it's unfortunate, and that is why it's so hard to even cover it. And it's like, again, let's see if anything can change my mind, but I don't really care what was said. I don't really care what was said. I don't really care where Austin Metcalf was or was supposed to be or wasn't supposed to be. Karmelo Anthony walked up to him at a high school track meet and stabbed him to death. That's what happened. And that should be it. Jail. Probably a life sentence. Again, if there's something that comes out that changes my mind on that, then fine, I'm open-minded to it. But I don't know how you're going to be able to do that. Now, this is where it potentially gets dangerous, and then I'm going to go to the protests outside the courtroom. If Karmelo Anthony does not get a life sentence, or if Karmelo Anthony does not go to jail, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is the reality, that will be a green light that it's okay to kill white people. I don't want it. This is not a political based message. This is not a race based message. This is just the real result of what is going to happen. If Karmelo Anthony does not go to jail or get a life sentence, the message received is you can kill a white person and it's okay. That's the message. That's how it's going to be interpreted. And that's how, whenever, if there ever is, and there will be, another situation where there's a skirmish, there's an argument, or whatever, black kid has a knife, white kid doesn't, black kid stabs the white kid to death, he's going to feel justified. He's going to feel that that's okay. He's going to feel he doesn't have to go to jail. And if he really needs a defense, he'll just say, he called me the N-word or something. But this isn't even, forget about what I think. Forget about my politics. Forget about what I think. That doesn't even matter here. And that's why it's like everything becomes so political. Sometimes you just have to realize, throw all the politics out. These are the results no matter what. People are going to be more radicalized. And if you can stab somebody to death and get away with it in what has now become a hyper-racialized case, absolutely race is going to be a factor. And absolutely the message is go stab a white person to death and you can do that. That's okay. You can get away with it. That will be the message. These things are undeniably true. I don't care what your politics are. I don't care what your race is. I don't care about any of that. These things are all true. The results of this case will radicalize people no matter what. And if Karmelo Anthony does not go to jail or get a life sentence, then the message is you can stab a white person to death, and that's okay. So we go to the protests, which are just getting pretty crazy, guys. I mean, death threats happening outside. Listen to the Karmelo Anthony support team out here speaking with some of the members, or speaking to some of the members of the media.
I'm going to push you if I get close enough. Push you right into that crash. You heard what I said, cracker. Neanderthal, I don't give a fuck what you say. Fuck you, cracker. Fuck you, cracker. Fuck you.
We gotta get out of the road. Let's get out of the road, please. Get out of the road, please.
You still a cracker. You still a cracker. You're a cracker, motherfucker. You're a cracker. You're a cracker. He a cracker. You a cracker. You a cracker. You ain't gonna get me, cracker. They've been trying to get me, cracker. You ain't gonna get me, cracker. I'm gonna push you if I can.
So I'm just curious, if the roles were reversed here, and it was a white guy screaming at black people, threatening them and calling them the N-word, I'm just curious how that would be received. Because apparently this is totally acceptable. Everybody on his side of this protest, they're not saying anything to him. The cop is not saying anything to him. So, okay, hey, I'm fine with that. Free speech. Free speech. Call me whatever you want, bro. Free speech. I'm okay with that. I'm just curious if the reception and the treatment would be the same if the roles were reversed and he was a white man screaming threats and racial attacks against a black man. I'm just curious if the reception and the attitude there would be the same if the roles were reversed. And I think we all know the answer to that. The answer is no. And this is exactly it. And this is why I'm saying if Karmelo Anthony doesn't get a life sentence or doesn't go to jail, this is the attitude. The attitude is, I can go out here and be racist against white people. That's socially acceptable. Of course, it's not acceptable the other way. It's not this, the reception here, the treatment here, the attitude here would not be the same if it was a white person making these threats, making these racist remarks. That would not be socially acceptable. But if it's a black man doing it to a white man, that is socially acceptable. We allow that. That's okay. And so that's why he goes out there and does it. The same precedent will apply to killing white people. The same precedent, the same attitude. Hey, I'm allowed to go out and be racist to white people. That's socially acceptable. They can't do that to me, though. Hey, I'm allowed to go out and stab a white person to death. That's socially acceptable. They can't do that to me, though. That's the message. That's the precedent. And you can see it exhibited right here in real time. So then Jake Lang shows up. Well, I think you can already guess where it goes then.
Whatever you're talking about, the motherfucking lie. Hey, you motherfucking know it. I don't give a fuck. Whatever you're talking about, the motherfucking lie. Hey, you know it. Fuck you. Fuck you. Check it out, man. Low impulse control. This is the reason why Austin Metcalf is dead. Because this is a response that is told. This is a response they teach their young people to have. This is a response that the mothers, the black mothers in this community does not teach its people to respect personal boundaries. It does not teach people to talk with respect. And that's why Austin Metcalf said, because of your failure as black parents, failures as black parents, failures as black parents, teaching the youth to kill. Look at that boy. Look at that boy. Me and you, future combat. Me and you, future combat. What's up? Now you got the phone.
And so there it is. So when the black man was hurling racial comments towards the white man, nobody said or did anything. Now that Jake Lang is hurling racial comments to the black man, now all of a sudden it's time to fight. It's time to deal with him. It's time to surround him and threaten him and everything else. So there you go. Now that plays out in real time. And then they, well, again, folks, this whole thing is just sad. Then the death threats start again.
Cracker is a dead cracker. Only good 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 cracker is a dead cracker.
Now, I could do a social experiment right now. I'm tempted to do it. I don't think I'm going to do it. It's all really lowbrow. And I don't blame the people that want to go out there and cover it or, you know, be a part of a protest or whatever. It's all very lowbrow to me. And I see it because I've done it for so long. And unfortunately, nothing good comes of this. Nothing good comes of this. Nothing. So I have no interest in doing it anymore because there's nothing good happens. But I could do a social experiment. And I could come on here and you know, say no good N-word except a dead N-word. And I could do the bit. I'd say it. And there would be outrage. There would be headlines. Owen Schroyer says the N-word. Owen Schroyer says the N-word and dead N-word. Oh, everybody knows exactly what would happen. If I came on air, if I did it right now, it doesn't even matter that it's juxtaposed against that clip. It doesn't even matter that there's a context to it that's appropriate. None of that would matter. If I came on air and I said, no good N-word, but a dead N-word, it would be a national conspiracy of racism and far-right extremism. And it would be news headlines and clips and shared and viral views and everything. And I would do the social experiment just to prove it. Just to show the double standard and just to show how this goes one way and just to prove it. I'm not going to do it. But you know that's true. You know that's exactly what would happen. So it's just like, what are you supposed to do? Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure if Carmelo Anthony walks or doesn't go to prison, I'm sure people like that are willing to go out in public and chant death to white people in the streets, I'm sure that doesn't give them the green light to go kill white people if they can get away with it, and that's okay. I'm sure that's not how the logic and the precedent is going to be applied there. I'm sure. And that's what they're demanding, by the way. They're all demanding that. That's what the protesters are demanding, that Carmelo Anthony walk free. He's an innocent man. He killed a person, and they claim he's an innocent man. Now, you want to argue about what he's guilty of or not, or what his sentence should be. No. Stop it. Carmelo Anthony killed a person. He killed a young man. That's what he did. And they pretend like he's innocent. They pretend like he didn't do anything. Pretty dangerous precedent. All right, a little bit more on this screwworm stuff. Sid Miller says USDA ignored his screwworm solution. Now, so there's some interesting stuff. Now, Brooke Rollins blamed it on the Biden administration today. And they have confirmed, USDA confirms New World Screwworm. That's what it's called, New World Screwworm. It's like, okay, I mean, come on. Really? New World Order Screwworm. So they have confirmed at least one case in Texas. Brooke Rollins is blaming the Biden administration. Okay, that was her testimony today. For the sake of time, I'm going to kind of speed through some of this stuff because we still got a lot of stuff, and then I want to get to the super chats. But Brooke Rollins testified that it's the Biden administration's fault today. Now, is it anybody's fault? Can you blame one person? A policy? I don't know. But here's the reality. This is happening in Trump's administration. This is happening almost a year and a half, in fact, into Trump's administration. So you're kind of past that buffer of time of blaming the Biden administration, I think, on this case. It's also true that the Trump administration was cutting funding in the USDA specifically on screwworm monitoring, specifically that. And Sid Miller, who we referenced earlier with the story, he was warning them. And he was saying, hey, we can still cut funding, but keep some mechanisms in place here. And the Trump administration just cut it all. And now you have a screwworm in the U.S., in Texas, a New World Screwworm. So I don't think blaming the Biden administration is fair for the open borders. I don't think that applies here. I think that's an F. That's a fail on that attempt to shift blame. No, this is a Trump administration issue. Now, how much blame the Trump administration should or shouldn't get, you can argue. But no, this is a Trump administration issue, not a Biden. And if you do want to look at policy, the Trump administration cut the policies. And now the screwworm is here. These are just the facts. Not saying that's Trump's fault or Rollins' fault, but those are the facts. You can reach your own conclusions. Those are the facts. Now, they claim they have it under control, and you know what? I bet they do. I'm hoping that this thing doesn't get out of control, and they've got their response, and they're going to nip this in the bud, and we're not going to have a big screwworm issue. We already have a massive issue in this country. In fact, who would be surprised if this was actually a terror attack? If this was actually some sort of an attack on our cattle industry, on our beef industry? I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if somebody's trying to sabotage the U.S. beef industry. Because the Trump administration is doing that unintentionally. So imagine if you have this and now the beef prices are going to double. America's cattle issues are going to get even worse. Barbecue places are going out of business because they can't afford to buy beef anymore. Some of Texas's oldest barbecue joints close as meat prices skyrocket. This is a Trump administration issue. So you can't blame Biden. This whole Biden blame game is done. It's over with. You're past year one. It doesn't work anymore. And it's like that's their ultimate fallback is, oh, Biden, oh, the Democrats. Like that doesn't work here. No, this is a Trump administration issue. If you don't want to take the blame for it, that's fine. Okay, let's get it under control. Let's not make it a large issue. That's good. Do your job. But don't sit here and blame this on Biden. You guys are the ones that cut the policy. If there's any blame to be made here, it is on the Trump administration. But this is not a Biden administration issue. Stop. This doesn't work for me anymore. Let's hope that deal doesn't get bad, folks. Remember, Trump claims that they beat the woke LGBTQ trans stuff? No, they didn't. New York Democrats push to replace mother with gestating parent under inclusivity drive. What? Oh. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. That's where we're at. Democrats push to replace mother with gestating parent. These people are so screwed up. They pretend like, oh, we're pro-woman. And then the man can be a woman. You know, oh, they'll white knight for mothers. And then they'll say, you're a gestating person. So there's nothing special about you as a woman. There's nothing special about you as a mother. You're just a gestating parent. What? It's like, just start calling them concubines. There's no such thing as women. They're just concubines. That sounds radical rightism. This is the horseshoe theory, actually. It's just different terminology. The right wing, you know, the far right, I don't know what they call it, red pill, whatever it is. The manosphere, the anti-woman right manosphere, they call that women are just concubines. The left calls you gestating people. Both removing, you know, the beauty of motherhood. Actually, concubine is probably more respectful, if I would say. Gestating parent just sounds like, you know, you're just like a rock. Like, at least, like, you're just like a womb. You're just a womb. Like, at least with concubine, like, there's a purpose. Like, hey, you're bringing a life into the world. Like, that matters. Gestating parents, like, oh, you're gestating. It's almost like you're a leper. Like, you need to, how do you like that one? They're all crazy. There's no home on the left with people like that. So you go to the left, you're a gestating parent. You go to the right, you're a foreign agent. It's like, oh my God. Can I just live in the country without a bunch of crazies running it and like make it affordable maybe? In fact, you know what? That's kind of funny. I've seen I like this. Maybe we should have a little fun here. What kind of names? All right, we got gestating parents in the chat here, guys. This is going to get real funny, really inappropriate. If I don't see it, I'm starting with bang maids, mobile taxable womb. That one is way more applicable. Bang maid is, no, we can't. That's not going to make the final cut. Taxable womb, mobile taxable womb. We're trying to fix this. Concubine, too far right. Gestating person, too far left. Mobile taxable womb. That kind of splits the difference here. What else do we have? Dishwashers? No, that's not helping it. That doesn't identify it. D objects. Seeing if anybody can come up with a better name. Right now, we are on taxable mobile womb. That's what we're going on. I think that's what we're gonna land on here, guys. So the far right calls them concubines. The far left calls them gestating people. Down the middle, they're taxable mobile womb. This is funny. Vaginal condominium. Vaginal condominium. That's good. And it shows a little respect for the women, too. You have the vagina. That's the female anatomy. Only you can claim that. But it also keeps it very material. You know, it doesn't overwhelm you with the gender stuff. A condominium is neutral. Surrogate swine. Nope. I'm not liking these other ones. Legacy human incubator. Human, though. Yeah, I mean, man, though. You can't say human. I don't know. Oh, my gosh. Some of these are too inappropriate to read. Vaginal condominium. Hot pocket. Good God. Nobody wants to be in a hot pocket. They think you're going to get burned. Mobile gestating womb. No. Baby cannons. No. Egg donor. No. Come on, guys. Some of these are too much. All right, we got to move on. A womb with a view. Clump of cells carrying agent. Wet nurse. Human mop. What does that have to do with pregnancy? Come on, guys. What do we think? For me, it's human cabbage patch. Birthing unit. I'm going to go, I think fertile ovens. I like vaginal condominium. You know, what was the other one? Mobile taxable womb is a little too wordy. And then you got to bring in the fact that you're getting taxed. It's not, no. Vaginal condominium is, that one slaps. You got it with that one. I think that was Shervin was your name. Bernie Sanders is at it again, guys. Bernie Sanders is railing against the rich. Now, this stuff hits, but then that's like, yeah. So he says, never before have we had so much income inequality. That is true. That is just true. Last year, the bottom 50% saw their income go down by $27 on average, with the top 0.01% gaining $2.9 million. Well, I don't know where he gets these numbers. They don't, it's directionally, okay, he's still right. And then he goes on, the top 0.001%, they saw their income go up by 20 million in a single year. Okay, well, directionally, this is all true. This is all undeniably true. Then he says, we must tax the rich. Oh, Bernie. No, you need to cut the taxes. You need to stop taxing poor people. It's not about taxing the rich. They already pay all the taxes. It's about getting rid of all the burdensome regulation and taxes and everything else that's crushing the American people. We live in this wild micro-transactional debt industry where everything is just a microtransaction on top of a tax to put you more into debt. That's the problem. We have a problem with our government. We have a problem with our taxes. We have a problem with all the different microtransactions. And there was something else, on that note, and this gets us into the Farm Bill news. So there's a new push, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but it ties into this. There's a new push, and they're claiming this is going to be big in Iowa for the Senate race. This is going to be big leading into the midterms, this Farm Bill. And the pesticide lobby is arguing that pesticide use saves money. So it's like, here's the issue. Everybody wants to save money. Everybody wants to save money, and even these corporations are in these tiny margins. So in order to expand their margins, they penny you. They nickel and dime you. So, you're paying this transaction fee. You're paying that transaction fee. You're paying this fee and this tax. And it just becomes a series of microtransactions. Everybody, 4 different points of contact, 4 different points of microtransactions, and then it's the single person that's paying off all of them. And this is why the economy is the way it is. You can't even buy a single product anymore. You go buy one product, you're buying 10 different things, 10 different services, 10 different taxes, and then after you pay for all of that, then you can get the thing you want to buy. So it's not about taxing the rich. And that's not going to solve anything. It never has, and it never will. And what's the point? Tax the rich to give it to the foreign lobby? Tax the rich to give it to the special interests? Like, what does that even do? It doesn't do anything. So Bernie directionally, it hits, and then he says tax the rich, and that I don't think that hits. So here's the Farm Bill stuff. GOP Farm Bill set to unleash pesticide use and strip animal welfare protections. This was from March. So this was when Maha was still in control of it, and it was truly a Maha bill. Now, a lot has happened since then, and there's been a lot of back and forth with the debate and pesticide use and legal protections. You know, you've seen all of that. And now you see the lobby stories with headlines like this: 3 ways the House Farm Bill threatens your health. So all the people that profit off of pesticide use and all the unhealthy stuff that they're trying to get out with this Farm Bill, they're doing a bait and switch, and they're saying, oh, no, the Farm Bill is bad for your health, even though it's good for your health. And then they're saying, if we stop using pesticides, the cost of food is going to go up. Oh, so you have to use pesticides to keep your costs down, and then ultimately the consumer pays the price with an unhealthy product. But see, you have to make your margins too. In a good economy, you can prioritize the consumer. In a good economy, you're saying, I'm willing to pay extra to have a healthier, better product for the consumer. We have a bad economy. And instead they say, I need to have the most cheap, inexpensive product possible. Consumer be damned. It's no more best quality product at a fair price. It's most cost-effective product at the highest possible price. It's a total inversion of the healthy economy. We are in a bad economy. And taxing the rich is not going to change that. This bill is going to be huge in the Iowa race. In a Maha win, House passes Farm Bill stripped of language that would have protected pesticide companies. So you know they're going to be lobbying big league back and forth. And then this is going to be huge in Iowa. They're going to be really, because Iowa's a big farm state. The Maha candidate, which was not the AIPAC Trump-backed candidate, the Maha candidate actually beat the AIPAC Trump candidate. And he's really into the Farm Bill. He's into healthy Maha farming. And he's going to be a big proponent of this bill. And so get ready to see all the lobby attacks. Get ready to see all the Democrat attacks. They're going to tell you that Maha is going to drive the cost of your food up. They're going to tell you that Maha is going to be bad. They're going to lie about everything just to keep the Maha candidate from winning in Iowa. And the Republicans are going to let it happen because the same lobbyists and the same donor class control the Republican Party, and their candidate lost in Iowa. So the Republicans will probably let the Democrats flip the Iowa seat. And then Republicans will tell you, oh, you can't do a spite vote for Democrats, but the Republicans will do a spite vote by not funding and supporting a candidate that doesn't take AIPAC money. So I don't want to hear about that. Now, the environmentalists are going to catch up on this AI issue. They're going to catch up eventually. And they may have a legitimate case, but it's the boy that cried wolf because they've been lying about climate change and everything else for years, global warming, so it's kind of hard to take them seriously. They would have a case here, but they may have spoiled their trust. UN report warns AI could soon use 3% of the world's electricity and more water than we need to drink. I think now that this is becoming a big story, eventually the grift environmentalist left is going to pick it up and roll with it. As an issue, data centers and AI is a win politically. But if the Democrats spoil it into an environmental thing, a climate change thing, they could kill their golden goose. If the Democrats keep it to data centers and AI and they stick to that as an independent core issue, they can win on that issue. If the Democrats try to spin that back into the whole climate change environmentalist script, then they'll lose. And you know what? They're just so stupid. They can't help themselves. The Democrats might kill their golden goose. If they turn this whole thing into a climate change deal, they could kill their path to victory. And they're so stupid, they might do it. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if they did that. John Bolton's in trouble. Ex-National Security Advisor John Bolton will plead guilty in classified information case. You know, MAGA wants to claim that this is a deep state arrest. The problem is he worked for Trump. Oops. This is a pretty wild one. Hegseth exposes foreign threat to military recruiting strategy. It turns out that foreigners were in charge of the military's recruiting base and data. That seems like an issue. Good for Pete Hegseth. That's a win for Hegseth, finding that deal. Alzheimer's patient gets back speech, bladder control, and memory in groundbreaking drug trial. What do you think it is? What do you think it is, guys? What a trip. After a decade of cognitive and functional decline, an 80-year-old patient with advanced Alzheimer's disease showed remarkable signs of recovery. All it took was a single dose of experimental hallucinogen to get her speaking more than she had in years. And that's just the top of the list of her improvements. Hallucinogen. What are we talking about? Talking about psilocybin, magic mushrooms, as it's called. It's been touted as an effective treatment for depression, anxiety, addiction, PTSD, and now potentially Alzheimer's. Why isn't this legal, you must ask? Well, it's pretty easy, because of the big pharma lobby. The big pharma lobby is why marijuana is not legal, why magic mushrooms are not legal. Hell, probably why the entire war on drugs exists. We can't have cocaine. We need you on Adderall. We can't have marijuana. We need you on antidepressants. We can't have you eating magic mushrooms. We need you on big pharmaceutical pills. So see, that's the things that occur on planet Earth, like mushrooms and marijuana that grow from God's creation, these things that happen naturally, they're a threat to big pharma's trillion-dollar industry. That's why they're illegal. And you'd think, because there's so many cases like this, this thing is so well studied, it's actually ridiculous. There's so much evidence, and you could get into different types of the marijuana that has helped people with seizures and everything else. This is not endorsing drug use, just to be clear, because that's how they love to respond to this. It's a low IQ idiot response. So many cases, you'd think, wow. I mean, imagine you watch this. It's your grandmother, and she's struggling for years. You're losing your grandma, and she starts eating magic mushrooms, and she starts coming back. It's like, what a miracle. What a miracle. What a gift. What a gift from God. Oh, but it's a hallucinogen. It's a drug. Shut up. Shut up, Satan. Shut up. We got to break this spell, man. You got to break this spell. I'm not telling young kids to go out here and eat mushrooms and drive a car. Shut up. Shut up. This is a miracle. This family has their grandmother back, and all she had to do was eat a mushroom that grows out of the earth. God bless. What a miracle. Why isn't this thing on the shelves tomorrow? Because you got to take the pills. You got to take the big pharma pills. And there's no magic mushroom lobby. There's no magic mushroom lobby that can spend billions of dollars to influence the media and to influence the government. No, it doesn't exist. So instead, big pharma does that, and they keep their products on the shelves, and God's natural substances illegal. So I think it's total bullcrap. I don't want to hear, too. I don't want to hear about, well, you know, kids do drugs and this and the other. Shut up, man. It's so stupid. A kid can go to the grocery store right now and drink hand sanitizer. Shut up. Shut up. They go sniff glue. There's all kinds of stupid stuff kids do to try to look for a high. Shut up. I'm so sick of this over government, big brother, over regulation. It's bullcrap. These people got their grandmother back. The magic mushroom thing is so well studied. The DMT thing, the ayahuasca thing, folks, this stuff is it's a miracle. Honestly, it is a miracle. This stuff does things in the brain that we don't even know how to measure it. It's like the most advanced natural thing that happens with neuroscience, and we don't even know how to measure it. And yet we have a concept, which is, it's like, why does this woman, she takes magic mushrooms and all this stuff happens. Why do these people going through all of this stuff, they go to the ayahuasca, whatever, the different forms of DMT, and they have these renaissances, they have these recoveries? Because these things do magic in your brain. It's like if there's a rehab for your brain, a magic mushroom thing is like, okay, you can go through that, eat some. It's like maybe 5-10 hours max. You want to do an ayahuasca trip in the Amazon, like a week or longer. But it's like a recovery. It's like a rehab for your brain. You bust your knee up, you get a torn ACL, whatever, you rehab your knee. Well, sometimes you need to rehab your brain. We don't have anything to rehab the brain. We have a bunch of pills that just keep you going. Mushrooms, DMT, this stuff rehabs the brain. It is a miracle from God. But because of big pharma, we just keep it illegal. We just keep it off the shelves, and we let grandmas and grandpas lose their minds. And if they just maybe ate some mushrooms, they might come back like this woman. It's really heartbreaking. It's grotesque. Man, the lobbyists that control this country, they're just sick people, man. They're just sick people. The lobbyists that sell us out for money, sell humanity out for money. These demons. That's what they are. They're demons. You know, I briefly mentioned this earlier, so I won't spend too much time. But, Glenn Beck is doing this whole Candace Owens attack thing now. And I don't know, maybe he thinks it's good for his views. But he's doing whole segments and shows, attacking Candace, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. This is what they don't understand. Glenn, you have no influence anymore. Candace Owens is more popular than you, and there's nothing you can do that's going to change that. You're actually in a somewhat of a free market for journalism. It's still rigged, censorship, stuff happens, but you're in an actual competitive market now in political media. Candace is more popular than you. And she's always going to be more popular than you from now until the end of your career, Glenn. And this isn't an insult to Glenn. It's that this is the right-wing delusion. This is the MAGA delusion. Like Glenn probably really thinks he can go do this show about Candace Owens and move the needle and change hearts and minds. 0%. 0%. It's like the same thing with MAGA. It's like MAGA still thinks it has influence. MAGA still thinks it's the movement that got here. No, you guys are nothing. The movement's dead. The movement, the people, the coalition that got you here, it's gone. It's dead. It doesn't exist. It's over. You guys are living in the past. You stole a relic from the past and you're wearing it like it's your own. You stole body armor from an old war and you're running around wearing it, LARPing like you're in a battle. It's over. It's dead. It's like the same thing. Glenn, it's done. Candace is more popular than you. There's no amount of attacking her that can change that. And if anything, Glenn Beck attacking Candace Owens probably makes her more popular. They just haven't figured it all out yet. We can move on from that. I'll tell you what, let's do this and then go to the super chat. So we saw this today, the big UFC 250 coming up. The Strickland story is big because he's the champ. I mean, he's literally the belt holder, and he's not even allowed to go to the UFC event because he criticizes Israel. This is the claim. So apparently, you've got Bryce Mitchell and Sean Strickland, who are, anti-Israel in their political comments. So they're not allowed to go to the UFC 250 at the White House. But hey, guys, Israel and Jews have no influence at all in this country. It's like, it's the funniest thing to sit here and watch it. It's like, we have no influence over this country. By the way, you're not allowed. What? We have no decisions. We have no decision-making power in this country, but you're bombing Iran. Huh? We have no control over finance in this country, but you're debanked. We have no control over social media in this country, but you're banned. It's like, what? So, we don't have any influence, but by the way, here's all the influence we have. Okay, thank you. So the UFC event is now the most recent proof. Let's listen to Bryce Mitchell talking about this, because I don't think Dana White will censor them on the UFC platform, but I guess at the White House, it's a different flow of power here. Here's Bryce Mitchell's comments.
Did you see that Sean Strickland got banned from the White House for talking about Israel?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, freedom of speech is what really makes this country great. And when you can't criticize a foreign nation, come on, man. We ought to be able to criticize our own nation, let alone a foreign nation. In fact, that's the only nation you're not allowed to criticize. So something's going to change, because evil empires don't last forever. There's always a rebellion. You ever seen Star Wars? That's what's going to happen, bro. Darth Vader's going to get took down.
Folks, this cat is so out of the bag. I know my audience understands this, so I don't mean to berate you with it. But I mean, to people that don't understand this, you need to understand most of this show is not even opinion. This is political play-by-play. I'm telling you what's happening on the field. That's what I'm doing. You cannot put this cat back in the bag. And it doesn't even matter, because they want to pose it like, oh, it's hatred of Israel or hatred of Jews, whatever. That's how they want to pose it. It's a total lie. It has nothing to do with hatred of anybody or anything. It has everything to do with American patriotism. It has everything to do with American nationalism and sovereignty and independence. That's all it has anything to do with. But the realization in this process is that Israel is the biggest obstacle to these things. The biggest obstacle to American sovereignty and independence and everything else is Israel. That's the conclusion that people have reached. And it's only going one direction. More people reach that conclusion every single day. And it's not going the other way. It's only going one direction. You're not putting this cat back in the bag. And the more you try, the worse you look. So it's going to be this head-on collision that we're all seeing now is going to be interesting. Now that it's hitting, the culture world, the political world, the commentary world, you can't avoid it. It's everywhere now. It's only going one direction, and it's undeniable. You try to deny Israel's influence, if not outright control, ownership over our government, you just look like a fool. You look like a sellout. You look like a fool, and that's how it's going to go. Now, here's, I guess, part of Sean Strickland's. Well, I'll play you this video from his account. This has me curious, I will say. Listen to what he says. He's not allowed at the event, but he might go anyway.
Well, you guys, I'm not surprised, but I got the call. I got the call. The UFC higher ups called me, big names. They said, Sean, I got to apologize, but you're not Israeli enough to go to UFC 250 Israel edition. The White House.
I'm sorry, guys, just pause this for a second. Do you understand the level of occupation in your country? Do you understand the level of conquered Washington, D.C. is by the Israeli lobby? Sean Strickland, an American UFC champion, is not allowed to go to the White House because of what he says about foreign countries. Folks, Really. And again, this is the conclusion of right wingers. This is the conclusion of actual conservative patriots. The reason why they want to see the GOP destroyed in the midterms is because they've realized if the vehicle for right-wing politics, if the vehicle for American conservatism is the Republican Party, then the current Republican Party has to be destroyed, because the current Republican Party is a vehicle for Israel's interests. The current Republican Party will gatekeep and stop anything from happening in America's interests if Israel is not involved. And so this is the realization of American conservatives and right-wingers, and that's why they're willing to sit here and deal with the pain of losing a midterm, losing a presidential election, and reshaping the entire GOP, because there is no right wing in America right now. There's no conservative movement. There's no American nationalist movement. There's no right wing movement. It doesn't exist. There's the Republican Party that's supposed to be the vehicle, except that's currently being run by the Israeli lobby. And so that's the realization politically. But look at this through the lens of culture now. Again, Sean Strickland, an American UFC champion. This is an international sport. This is a global phenomenon. And Sean Strickland is the American champion. And he's not allowed to compete. He's not even allowed to attend an event at the White House because he says bad things about Israel. What more do you need to hear? Who's making the calls? Who decides that an American athlete, that a U.S. champion is not allowed at an American event because of what he says about Israel? Who decides that? Folks, they run the country. I'm sorry. Just accept it. This is the most in your face it's ever been. This is insane. This is insane. And good for Sean Strickland. This is what a patriot looks like. This is what a true ethical patriot looks like. You don't back down. You don't cower. You speak your mind. You tell the truth. You stand up for yourself. And that's what Sean Strickland is doing. I don't think there's ever been a more ridiculous example through the lens of culture than this. And I don't know how, again, it's like, how do you put the cat back in the bag? How do you put the toothpaste back in the tube when this is happening for everybody to see? And that's why you can't help but reach the logical question, is this being done intentionally? Like, really? Israel has never been more exposed. Israel has never been more unpopular in American politics. So it's like, is this all happening intentionally? Like, are these people exposing Israel's control over our country intentionally? With all the political developments, now with all the cultural developments, all the paid influencers going back and forth from Israel and America and telling you war is good now and everything else. It's like, it's so ridiculous, you almost think it's obvious. It's so over the top and in your face, you almost can't even believe that it's accidental. That's how over the top and ridiculous it is. But I don't know. You tell me. Because this is the conclusion I reach. As an honest, neutral observer, I'm reaching the conclusion that Israel controls our country. I'm reaching the conclusion that Israel has more influence, more power, and more control over my country than America does. What other conclusion am I supposed to reach from this Sean Strickland story? That's a genuine question, by the way. That's a genuine question. For the people that are going to say, oh, you're crazy, whatever, all the things you hear when you discuss this topic. I'm open-minded. What other conclusion am I supposed to reach that an American UFC champion cannot even attend the UFC event at the White House because he's critical of Israel? What other conclusion am I supposed to reach other than Israel's in charge? I'd really like to know.
Clear, yeah. And I'm not really surprised, I'm not really surprised. So, I think moving forward, I would like to just apologize to Israel. I'd like to say I'm sorry, I'd like to apologize to Trump. And I just want to prove that I'm Israeli enough for you guys. Like, for instance, whenever the list disappeared and Trump goes out there and says to everybody that he can't really go into it because people that by association will get prosecuted and like their names will be tarnished. I want to apologize because, I don't want them to be prosecuted. Or, when Trump goes and bombs the fuck out of Iran that no Americans agree with, that costs Americans $5,000 to $15,000 to go fight Israel's war. I want to apologize. Sorry, I've been a critic of that. My allegiance was apparently in the wrong place, and I just want to apologize. Or when Trump goes out there and says, "Hey, Trump, your approval ratings are the lowest it's ever been across all demographics," and Trump says, "Well, you know what? I have a 99% approval rate in Israel. I want to apologize, and I want to repent, Apparently, I'm not American enough to go to Freedom 250. But I still got my ticket, so maybe we'll just go. I'll bring the bell, and we'll just stand outside the gate, and we'll just let them know what we really think about Trump and Israel.
Do you think he would actually do it? Do you think he would actually stage a protest outside of the event for a pro-America, stop letting Israel control us and ban American athletes from American events? Do you think he'd actually do it? He might. Would you be interested in attending? That'd be like the first activist public event I'd actually be interested in attending, I will tell you. All the other stuff, I'm not really interested. I've passed on most of the other stuff, most of the other offers, most of the other events. I'm just not interested right now. It just doesn't do anything. This is one I might be interested in. That's one I think that it starts to merge culture and politics in a positive way. I wonder. You know what's so crazy, though, about this whole phenomenon? Because it doesn't really make sense, right? It's like, all right, we're all witnessing this. We all see what's happening. Israel's influence, Israel's control. Okay. It's like we're all witnessing it. There's no legitimate case denying it. It's just you can't deny it. What's crazy about the psychology of it is the reason why there's the denial is because it's a entitlement. It's like, no, you just accept that Israel is above you. That's not a debate. That's not like an Israel influences or owns your God. No, it's this. No, that's the established order, is that Israel is above you. That's the established order, is these are God's chosen people. They still live in that religious belief. They still live in that supremacy ideology. So that's why it's like the reason they deny the Israeli influence, the reason why they sit here and they pretend like it's not happening, it's not because they're denying it's happening. In their mind, that is the established world order. In their mind, that is the entitlement, that they are above you. They own your government. That's not Israel owns your government. They are selected to run your life. They are selected to own you and run your government. That's just their entitlement. That's why they don't view it as influence or ownership or like a political issue. No, to them, that's their right. To them, that's their entitlement. And for you to deny them that entitlement, for you to deny them that right, that's a sin. That's a crime against their religion. And that's how you've gotten here. That's the psychology that's gotten us here. All right. All right, let's take a final break here. And we will come back and we will read your super chats.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right, we go into some bonus time today. We're going to probably go over 3 hours a bit today to get to your super chats. A lot of content today. We actually will have a little leftovers for tomorrow, but we got through mostly everything today. The good stuff, the important stuff. Into the super chats. Thanks to everybody tuning in on YouTube for your super chats. Wifey leads us off. Why is Hunter Biden low-key hilarious, though? Hunter Biden is becoming more likable than MAGA. Let's just say it. I can't believe it. It's an unreal thing. But here we are together, you and me, wifey. Employee strong for life. Sean Strickland banned from the next UFC event for his comments. Yep, we just covered that. Thank you. The American enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm getting confused. My head is spinning. It's too much. Cream filling. That's what we can say. Cream filling. Vaginal condominium is out. Cream filling is in. You guys like that one? Good Lord. What are we doing? Ohio stalled the child marriage bill today. I don't even, you know what? I don't even want to know. Dust Vault, Laura Loomer epitomizes the trans sanity. Have you, the Loomer Candace stuff? I wonder if Candace is right, though. Aside from the bickering, she's claiming, I wouldn't be surprised. Candace is claiming that Laura has a handler pretending to be her husband, boyfriend, but apparently they're not married. I don't care. But what Candace is claiming is that the White House sent this guy to be, or maybe it was Israel, I don't know. Somebody sent this guy to be Laura's handler because she's about to have like a psychotic break. And we can't have Laura Loomer have a psychotic break while she's like the face and voice of MAGA online. So they sent somebody to be like her handler. I don't know. This is what Candace is claiming. I wonder if there's any truth to that. It wouldn't surprise me. She needs it. I would hope for her sake somebody is like, keeping an eye on her. PFF, securing the border barely matters when Biden's 10 million are still here, at least 10 million. And we have H-1Bs literally taking the futures of some of America's young, best, and brightest. Yes, that is true. Isolated as a border security, though, I do give them the win. But you are right. The issue of immigration, demographics, this goes well beyond the border. So on the singular issue of the border, that's a win. But on the larger issue of immigration, you are right. But notice he didn't make that claim in the wins. Tay-Tay, I saw Fishback speak at Clearwater Beach, Florida earlier. Fishback rallies are the new Trump rallies, man. Nobody goes to multiple rallies. It was only Trump and Fishback now. 13, Anjo Wizard, longtime supporter, disappointed in your weak take on Chud, excuse me. Chud is a political prisoner. He used a word we hear them call each other daily. Well, I don't really think, if you want to call it weak, I guess. Are you disagreeing with my logic, though? I'm not necessarily disagreeing that he's a political prisoner. I actually agree with that. And in fact, juxtaposing it against Karmelo Anthony is probably the strongest evidence that Chud has to sit in prison and Karmelo Anthony was cut free. Karmelo Anthony killed somebody, Chud didn't. So I agree that he's a political prisoner. As I said, my issue, the reason why I'm not coming out and doing fundraising, which is what people were asking me, and I'm assuming this is where you're deriving my weak take from. I said, I have a hard time fighting for somebody's legal issues that doesn't do the proper legal procedures himself. In other words, I don't really care about the content. You want to go out and do that content, that's fine. I have no problem. But it's like, if you're going to go, I would never do it. I think it's, I think it's uncouth, but whatever. I have no problem. You want to do the content. But if you're going to do that, if you're going to go out there and intentionally try to invoke that response, that's what you do. You go out in public and you start calling people names. Come on. It's like you go to a bar looking for a fight and you get in a fight, you can't complain when somebody punches you. You went to the bar to look for a fight. So my issue was, if you're going to go out and do that content and know that that's either the event that you're trying to trigger, or you should know that that is inevitably the event that you're going to trigger. So you should know the legal mechanisms and you should have a system of response ready for that moment. And instead you end up like in a gunfight. I just have a hard time wanting to raise legal funds for you. I just feel I have a hard time wanting to fight for your legal issues when you were not even smart enough to do that for yourself to avoid this situation. So I don't know. You might disagree with that, and I know it comes off as like anti-Chud the Builder, whatever. But that was more my take. I agree he's a political prisoner. I agree with that. I just have a hard time fighting for somebody legally that doesn't even really do the proper precautions to fight for themselves and avoid this situation. That was my issue. So I don't disagree, political prisoner, but I don't feel the need to stand up in a legal fight because he didn't take the proper precautions, and this was inevitably going to happen when that's the type of content you do. So that's why it's a hard time for me to sit here and do a legal fight with him, because he didn't help himself. And it's like, why would I stick my neck out to help you if you're not going to help yourself? But you know what? Look, he is a political prisoner. There have been some developments. His lawyers think he's going to get out soon. And so we'll see. But I'm okay with the disagreement on this take. I know I have some opinions that probably go against my audience. I think it's good. I think it's healthy. We're done taking money. Prepare for insemination. Okay, these dogs sold us out for you-know-who today, stupid. Kudos to Massey and Kana. Brandon G. Thank you. Matt Walsh stopped talking politics and went back to social commentary. Free Matt Walsh. Matt is in an interesting situation, isn't he? La Bellissima. Walsh is in an interesting situation over there. Some heckler tried to call Fishback a racist. How come we haven't seen those videos? Why aren't you? Dude, you could be growing a social media account. I know you're on there. I don't see you post these videos, do you? Cam quality good, spectrum connection down, especially with Jake Shields. Yeah, that was weird. There was a storm in the area. Look, the cam thing is on me. I explained yesterday. The cam thing is on me. And I hate, the problem is it's like so much of it is lighting. So you notice the studio lights were really dim for a couple episodes. Folks, I hate TV lights. I have to tell you, I hate TV lighting. I hate it. It burns my eyes. I hate having TV lights blasting my eyeballs 3+ hours a day. I really hate it. But without the proper TV lighting, the camera quality looks like garbage. So I've switched back to the TV lights. That's just me sacrificing for you. That's the case for now. It'll probably come in waves. Honestly, there'll probably be like a week where I just turn the TV lights off and just go dark studio. And then there'll be times like this week where I put the TV lights back on and go with that. So just how it is. They just bash character now because they can't bash the substance of the content. That sounds woke, doesn't it? Sounds pretty woke, babe. Would Trump crap in a porta potty or find a dunkus? What are you on today? Trump actually doesn't poop, okay? He turns it into just raw energy. But that's why he was napping. He hadn't converted it yet. No bull. Attention, Section 224, which fuses the Israeli military with the U.S. military, is being voted on today. This is so effed up. Israel is going to control our military. Holy yes, we are fucked. Yeah, well, they already do. This is just a matter of legislating it into like a holy political ceremony, a holy political matrimony. They want to have that marriage, no prenup. That's what they're doing. And all of our friends are saying, don't do it. Don't do it. At least get the prenup. She's going to crush you. She's going to ruin your life. Wow. There was this rando talking a couple weeks ago on Spaces about how they're going to have to start ramping up coal, and everyone dismissed him. They have no choice. They have no choice, folks. They built the data centers before they built the energy. It's just such a disaster, this Trump thing, man. It's so bad. DJT is fake. I prefer Latina cheer. Oh, can you believe they posted that? What is going on in the White House? On a scale of gay to really gay, how gay is Trump? He's a Trump sexual, actually. It's an entirely different, we're adding it to the LGBTQ plus TS, Trump sexual. Many Americans are now Trump sexuals. Most wear MAGA hats. A-Rod Blends, thoughts on Handsome Truth on AJ. Well, for whatever reason, after that happened, people started blowing me up about it. And I'm kind of past the phase where people still associate me with InfoWars. It's been that long now. But It's like that was kind of a thing for a couple months afterwards, but that's not really a thing anymore. But for whatever reason, after that interview, I didn't watch it. I saw the clips that were circulating on X, but I don't have thoughts on it. I didn't watch it. But it was weird how everybody started reaching out to me about it, some negative, some positive. Some people thought I set the whole thing up. No. To my knowledge, I don't even think I've ever interacted with Handsome Truth. I look, I'm a free speech guy. I say interview, talk to anybody you want. Now I don't really do guests really on this show unless it's topical. But and then people were like, "Oh, well, you should have them on." I'm like, "What is this? What are you even talking about here?" And then some other people that were reached. So it was like people were like, they were happy about it. They wanted them on this show. And then people that were upset about it, they were glad I left. They can't believe it. And then I was like, well, okay, this seems to be electric. Why don't I have him on and then have someone else on to debate? And then it's just like, and then nobody wants to do that. And it's just like, I don't get it, man. We're going to stick to the show format as it is and do political play-by-play and news. So I just didn't watch it. I don't know why it's such a big deal. Like, why is it such a big deal? People talking. I just don't get it. I don't get the outrage. I don't get the fear. Fitzgeraldy, strongly recommend Crash Out Energy as a landscaper. Definitely go with citrus as the next flavor. Citrus, huh? Citrus. It's going to be either like a tropical citrus, maybe get the best of both worlds in there. Appreciate that as a landscaper. Look at that. Endorsed by the landscapers. Gotta love that. You love our landscapers. Joan Schroyer, race relations went to crap after Occupy Wall Street. Just a coincidence. That's true. They all used to protest against Wall Street. Now they all protest against white people. That's funny. But they redirected. It was like they protested against the white Wall Street guys, but then the Wall Street guys made them just hate normal, average white people. Ken Rose, thank you. If Anthony is guilty, ship him to North Korea. DZ. These jigsaws are crazy. Iron lunatic. I think we know who you're talking about. Trump would probably pardon Anthony if guilty. No, he didn't commit fraud. Saw your boomer debate, and Owen, I forgot how damn good you look in suits. I love you, stinky cat. I'm taking them from you, cat turd. I'm taking the cats from you. Soon you won't even exist. You are a turd of my cats. I'm taking the cats. I'm taking all the pussy. All the pussies are mine. Jesus. That's, you know what? I don't like the suit thing either. I'm not a monkey in a suit. It's like, this is why I don't like TV. I don't like getting all dolled up and dressed up in the suit. All the lights. It's like, I just want to talk. Like, don't you just want to listen? Isn't that the point? But I do look good in a suit. So now it's just, I get to stun you like once or twice a month. So thank you for the compliment. Hi, Owen. The black gentleman shouting obscenities looks like he's been eating way too many crackers. Nice. Gestating parent, as a center leftist listener, I want to apologize for my side's mental illness. I was hoping woke left stuff would disappear, but not in New York. Well, don't worry about that. As I've said, the whole Trump betrayal, the whole MAGA cult thing, all the left-right stuff is worthless to me now. It's like people that want to point at the left and say, look at this, look at that. It's like, it means nothing now. The right's dead. That all works when the right is on track. That all works when the right is tracking politically with the agenda. Then you can sit here and do all the leftism. Now the right wing has no political capital, no cultural capital, no morals, no integrity, no logical consistency, nothing. So now now that when they point at the left and they say this, that, it means nothing to me. It's like, oh, this artist said something bad about Trump on the stage. Who? So what? Means nothing. Means nothing anymore. So you don't need to apologize. Both sides are pathetic right now. Anyone getting texts asking if they support Israel? I don't think I have, no. But that's because I have Patriot Protect, so they can't get my phone number. Hong Wee Lo, Mary is a peace plant. Smoke with enemy, become friends. Did that really work for the Indians? It didn't seem like it. The Native Americans, kind of fought all the time. Might work for us though. For the Jew and the Gentile, maybe. Get the Muslim in there too. Let's see the peace pipe. Pass the peace pipe. Let's do that. Let's pass the peace pipe around. I'll get a Gentile, a Muslim, a Jew, or a Catholic, a Muslim, a Jew, and we'll debate. And then we'll pass around a Bob Marley. Set up a live stream protest with Sean Strickland. If he does that, if he says he's going to do that, the problem is it's 10 days away, so it's probably too short of a time to really organize anything serious. But if he does that, I'd be curious. That might be one I'd travel for and do a live stream at. We'll check that out. Wow, Dana White claims to be for free speech. Well, that's what I'm saying. Dana's not making these decisions, though. This is clearly not considered a UFC platform sanctioned event. And if it is, and Dana White has control and he's allowing that, that is upsetting, I will say. But it's like, how can you people complain about Dana White and there's problems, and it's like nobody's perfect. But you look at all the different, league commissioners, all the stuff, like Dana White is definitely the most free speech of them all. So you can have your issues, but that remains true. Eternal, Strickland, Owen collab win. It would be a good collab. I agree. We should try to do that. Thoughts on Hunter Biden coming back to posting on X and ratioing everyone? We addressed it earlier. Hunter Biden is now less cringe than MAGA and more relatable than MAGA, and so on and so forth. Zackaback, lefty here. Biden deported more than Trump. Another reason I voted Green Party in 2020, 2024. Wish we had open borders. Sadly, Dems deport more than Republicans. It's true, by the way. And I almost don't even want to tease this because I know what happens when I do. But on that note, we will be discussing this exact subject with somebody who is very close to the issue. All right, let's just say next week, big guest on this issue, about as close to it as you get. So there you go. Don't want to start what happens when you make these announcements with guests like this and it becomes, I'm not. So just wait. You'll see. We'll talk about it next week. Dropped a penny. AI invented crypto. It's using it to pay people to build the data centers. Boy, that's a theory. I've never heard that theory before. That one will stick. Of course, we saw it got brought up in the Epstein emails too, but who knows? Who knows, Fishback has the videos of the incident on his X account. It's interesting. Owen Report. Would you consider yourself of Aryan descent? Also, are you a distant relative of the legendary George Herman Babe Ruth? I've heard that. Well, Babe Ruth and I do have a connection, though it is not through bloodlines. It is a spiritual connection. It is a connection of the cosmos, the greater cosmos, where we are aligned, we are conjoined. I just consider myself an American, really. Nice try. Strickland is like Hulk Hogan without the K-fob and lies. Slice Man 420. I don't know if that's a fair comparison, but it's funny how they kind of get to do a little bit of the back and forth there at the UFC, and it is real. I forgot that you're a Texan. We Californians, Dunkin' Donuts donkeys up north. Yeah, you go to like Massachusetts, you go to like Boston, there's a Dunkin' Donuts. There's like 5 Dunkin' Donuts on every corner. Hey, which Dunkin' do you want to go to today? Savage. On Sean's plan to go to the White House fight, Owen, do me this solid and let me know any developments. I would be there as well, turning on notifications for Sean Strickland. Well, you and I both. I'll be monitoring the situation. We'll keep covering it here on the show, too. But we have another week next week, too, to kind of monitor the situation. Go woke, go broke, goes both ways. That's right. Why do you say collab like that? Don't talk to me like that. You tell me what to say, how to say it. Get out of here. Say it like what? Say it like what? That's how it's pronounced. Oh, they'll have fun with that one. She'll be back. Don't worry, guys. She'll be back. Always come back. All right. How about that? Little bonus time. Little bonus for you today. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to everybody for the super chats. Give us a follow. YouTube, the Owen Report on YouTube. Rumble.com/Owen. Hung We Low is back, guys. Hung We Low is back. Follow me on X at Owen Schroyer 1776. The audio archives available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Owen Report. God bless, Godspeed. Same time, same channel tomorrow.